Yes, I am James Rowlands, and today it's the WNR466. It's the Battle in the Valley, an AEW Revolution pre-show. Quite the mouthful, but luckily I'm not alone. I have a pleasure to be joined by the entire WNR team. Up first by my side for every WWE and AEW show is, of course, a fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. How's it going?
What up? What up? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Been a while. Yeah, it really has. And we have had a few emails about it. And the fact is I enjoy it kind of as a group, as it was, you know. So, and again, there's a lot of wrestling coming up. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we're all fully refreshed and ready for a bit of a New Japan catch-up today, Jaxie, I guess.
Definitely eager to jump into the discussion that is Battle of the Valley. So looking forward to it.
Well, up next, to help us along this journey, our resident NXT expert and New Japan deity, it is, of course, Monty. How's it going, man? There's been a lot of wrestling to watch recently.
Yeah, man, so much wrestling, so much to catch up with. I'm going to try my best to flex some more deity powers, but, if I'm a little rusty, it's just because of, just like you mentioned, I've watched so much wrestling to try to keep up with everything that's going on and across all the promotions that we watch. So, man, it's a lot, but I'm excited to get into it because, like you said, it's a packed show. So let's do it.
Yeah, and again, Monty, this is your fault. So if anybody complains about how long the show is or how much we got to do,
yes,
I'm literally
using it's all on me.
Your outline that you sent us towards the end of January. All right, so if anybody's to blame,
yes. Blame it on me, guys.
Yes. Well, last but by no means least, even, and you are beautiful on the inside. Your essence personified, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons, I fight. What have I become? Now that I've betrayed everyone I've ever loved, I've pushed them all away, and I have been a slave to the Gina in my mind. Is there something left for me to save in the wreckage of my life? I become becoming. Gina in my mind. I become becoming. Gina in my mind. It is Gina, everybody. How's it going?
Yo, that's my favorite one so far.
I'm fucking knackered. I'm knackered.
It sounded like it was quite a lot to take in on that. No, definitely enjoyed that one. What it do, gang?
Yeah, how's it going, Gina? Are you looking forward today to, of course, look back at New Japan? And are you ready for your AEW Revolution predictions?
No, because my predictions are going to be winged. I haven't even thought about it, so I'm just winging it tonight. And yes, although you're probably going to have to remind me of the matches for the battle. There's been so much wrestling. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the show.
Yeah, well, like I said, we've got loads to do. We're going to have latest news and, of course, AEW for Dynamite and Rampage this week with predictions. But we are going to catch up with Battle of the Valley. That's a little bit. So we have a look at New Japan first in January. And we start off January 21st. Following January 4th in the Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom 17, which we, of course, did review. It then headed to Yokohama Arena for Night 2 of New Japan's biggest show of the year, pitting New Japan talents against those from Pro Wrestling Noah. There was a slight twist for the event, as we're headlined by a best-of-5 series between New Japan's Los Ingobernables de Japan and Noah's Conga. That's the best I'm going to do. Following win, Taduski and Manabusawa, Conga enjoyed a 2-1 lead heading into the main event matches, but LIJ ultimately won the series 3-2 after Monty's man Shingo defeated Katsuki Nakajima in a hard-hitting affair and Naito vanquished Kino. However, this war wasn't the main talking point coming out of Wrestle Kingdom 17. What appeared to be a straightforward tag match pitting IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada and Togi Makabe against heavyweight champion Keita Kimori, and Yusuke Inamori quickly descended into chaos following a brutal kick for Kimori to Okada's forehead, which of course drew blood. An enraged Rainmaker went wild on the GHC champion, hitting him with fast strikes and dumping him on the table. The referee calling the match off as a no contest as he could not regain control. And to be fair, I think we all saw this clip. And Jack, I'm going to start with you because I know you're Okada's biggest fan. But that kick for Okada looked vicious. And have we seen Okada snap like this since we've been watching this past year?
I mean, yeah, definitely came as a sort of a shock surprise for us, especially us newbies when it comes to New Japan. I'm intrigued to see this new side of Okada. I think, obviously, for a caliber of Monty's level of New Japan, I'd be intrigued to know if Monty has seen a side like this to Okada before. But do you know what? Really? So we have a lot more to look forward to?
Well, to be brief, the way he came into New Japan back in 2012 when he challenged Tanahashi, he was way cockier, way more aggressive, way more I'm better than you. And I know you know Okada as the great superhero babyface that he is now. But older fans can remember in his younger days, he definitely always kind of had this side to him because Chaos originally was a heel faction in New Japan. So, he has an edge.
Because, coming into this as a new New Japan wrestling fan, the Okada we saw from last year, especially across the G1 and everything else that happened towards the end of the year, it was like a more composed Okada. Like, he was able to control where his anger was taken out in the ring, compose himself, keep a lot of maybe that anger hidden back behind closed doors. But as of late, it seems he's becoming a lot more unhinged. And I can't say that I'm not mad at that because I can't say that I am mad at that. Sorry. I'm actually intrigued and eager to see kind of how chaotic things can become, especially with him as the current reigning champion. And especially with what we've seen as of late when it comes to all of this drama, should I say, from the Noah champion. I can imagine that we might get a bit more chaos being entered in this year's especially for Okada. I'm excited to see how things escalate from here.
Well, another major announcement was Keiji Muto challenging Tetsuya Naito to face him in a retirement match inside the Tokyo Dome, which the show is going to be called Keiji Muto Grand Final Pro Wrestling Last Love Holdout. Really catchy title. That's February 21st. Let's not forget January 22nd. The great Muto was a winner in his final pro wrestling match as that character, teaming up with legendary Sting and Darby Allin as tag team wrestlers. Of course, this was called Great Muto's Final Bye-Bye. And he teamed with Sting and Darby Allin to face Hakushi. Yes, that one. The one that had classics with Brett back in the 90s. Akira and Nomichi Marufuji. The match ended with Muta hitting a Shining Wizard knee on Hakushi for the pinfall victory. Sting and Darby Allin also hit the signature moves towards the finish of the match. And there's some great pics of Sting and Muta as well. Muta even had bye-bye on his mask. But I think, Gina, this is great experience for someone like Darby Allin, who's actually going to Japan with Sting, who's saying that it might be his last Japanese tour and being involved in one of Great Muta's last matches. This is going to do the world of good for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be super interesting to see it. Did you say whether Darby had been to New Japan before, or it's his first time?
It was his first time as well, which is crazy.
Yeah. So definitely interesting to see Darby in that sort of capacity, and see him sort of come in not as a noob, but technically it was his first time there. He kind of is a noob, so it was interesting to see. But I definitely feel it's the type of scene he should explore for sure.
I think without a doubt, it was great experience. A really fun match as well. And then January 22nd, the main event was Shingo versus Lokan. Of course, with the KOPW Championship on the line. Of course, New Japan kicking off a New Beginning series. This match was contested under modified MMA rules, including lumberjacks on the outside. Victory could only come via KO, submission, and both competitors wore martial arts gi. Not only was he defending his championship against Khan, his title shot against Okada at New Beginning and Osaka was on the line as well. Shingo put Khan to sleep with submission to reign a title. And it's so weird but fun. And the Greater Khan, Monty, I never thought I'd enjoy someone passing out as well as Greater Khan did, but he actually like froth from the mouth as well.
Right. He's so entertaining, man. Like, yeah, just the way he went out and everything about this match was great to me. Although, like I said, I can understand it dragging. You can tell, by the way, that this is one of the situations where the stipulation made the workers have to really go out of their way, because think about that. When they were doing a lot of the MMA and the grappling stuff, you can tell shortly they were getting tired. Like, that stuff is tough to keep up when you're, trying to shoot with each other. So, the fact that they had finally, when Shingo took off his gi, it was like, you know what? So we're just going to fight. It's going to make this a match. You can see that it kind of picked up a little bit. But yeah, man, this match was nothing but fun. Like you said, weird, because that's what the KOPW is all about. Like, it's just weird. Like, stipulations those matches are always going to be weird. But at the same time, I thought they still end up, like you said, putting on a really good show. So it was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, about that. Well, Okada came to the ring to confront Shingo afterwards. And again, like I said, Okada's been a bit of a dick recently, because Shingo offered to put his title on the line. And Okada's just like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
I don't want it.
No, and then asked about if he's going to face, of course, the Noah champ. He's like, nah, I'm not going to do that either. So,
yeah, I'm not doing it either.
But hey.
Pretty much. So you can book it. That's exactly, he literally said you can promote it all you want. It's not happening.
That's what's weird about it. January 24th to February 1st, Road to New Beginning tour. I got told by Monty, everybody, that there was only like tag matches and stuff like this. It's just, Monty, this is just to like whet the appetite, I suppose, leading up to like a bigger show. Rather than being a 4-week build to a pay-per-view, it's like a 4-day build to like the Saturday or Sunday show. Would that be right?
Right. It's like preview tag match. You get a lot of people who will be fighting in some of the bigger matches, in tag matches against each other. Maybe sometimes trading victory. Sometimes you can see a little tease into maybe what's going to happen. But yeah, it's like you said. It's like a really good. The tease is really the best word I can think about it. Like, it's really just setting up things to come on the tour, for the bigger matches on the tour. But yeah, it's just, again, more work for everyone in the tag team format.
Well, we got February 4th, New Beginnings main events. One was the junior heavyweight tag title match, Catch 22 versus just 2 guys, which was Dookie and Kanemaru, and Taka, so it was just 3 guys, I suppose. TJP was enjoyable, great selling of the knee. The Doki Pokey stick is one of my favourite sayings, I think, in wrestling. Just really good stuff.
That was awesome.
Taichi versus Ospreay as well. This was another really, really good match with a hidden blade and the Stormbreaker putting Taichi away. These two beat the crap out of each other.
Incredible, man.
And then Shota is Naito. Red Shoe showing biased as well. I mean, how can you officiate your son being right? But then we see Death Riders escaped as Naito charged with a short Destinino for a wind-up. Destinino puts Umino away. Good stuff. It's showing that kind of Shooter is the next star. But like I said, Monty, these 3 matches they're not like the biggest matches in Japan, but they're worthwhile and enjoyable to watch as well.
Yes, I 100% agree. Like you said, the junior tag belts, not really always showcased on the main show, but they usually get a spotlight on a bigger card like this. And as you saw, again, Catch 22 was awesome in that one. Taichi and Ospreay, I just recommend everybody watch that match. That was beautiful. And the way Taichi, like I said, someone who was a relative loser for a long time, taken as a joke, someone that the crowd used to hate, to be that beloved and to make those people really start believing in him, even against the odds of fighting Ospreay. It was a special match. And then, like you said, Shota being the future in a really solid match with Naito. to finish off that little feud. For now, I think Shota is going to need a little bit more time, a little bit more seasoning. He'll be ready for these big 30-minute clashes, and maybe he'll be the one getting the victory, like you said, down the line.
I love that term, a little bit of seasoning. I love it.
Yeah, exactly what he needs. Just a little bit more experience in these situations, and he'll be the one winning sooner than being the one taking these losses. Like you can see it. Shota has exactly what they're looking for in New Japan.
Yeah, and then February.
I also want to. I just want to add as well. Coming from still feeling like a newbie when it comes to New Japan Wrestling, I like that they give these opportunities more on the main sort of like pay-per-view events for some of these younger wrestlers to come and have a chance. So, especially when it came to the Will Ospreay match, I definitely agree. Go watch Taichi in it. I thought, as soon as they were both coming out for the match, I was like, Will Ospreay is going to bury him. But they put up such a match. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. He really stood out to me. And I thought to myself, do you know what? With more practice, he could actually be really good. And you can see the beginning sort of stages of that throughout this match. So for someone of his caliber to be wrestling someone like the likes of Will Ospreay, that was such a great opportunity for him. And I think he handled himself so well in the ring. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next.
Well, but this is the enjoyable thing, even with watching it. So February 5th, New Beginning, all title match main events. It's these team like Bishamon. We saw Bishamon versus FTR at Wrestle Kingdom, and we were thinking, well, FTR, probably the better team. And now against TMDK, and really entertaining stuff, and it is great for me to see TMDK, back as the original group as it was. Jonah's absence made them lose, maybe a little bit of their cool. But again, let's say, Jackson, with Bishamon as a team that we want to see, if we're going to do crossovers with AEW, put a team like that up, for me, proper New Japan. And maybe not everybody knows,
Yeah, I agree.
Without shadow of a doubt. And we talk about the Mighty Don't Kneel, might be, losing their cool factor. But at least they do have Zack Sabre Jr., who defended his television title against Tomohiro Ishii. And I've got to say, and again, this might be a bit of an insult, but this is the first time I think I've ever seen Ishii wrestle, if you know what I mean by that, Monty, because every one of his matches has kind of been like, just hard-hitting strikes.
Yeah,
and,
brawls.
Yeah,
right.
I was going, the fucker can wrestle. Like, he can actually, it's crazy.
He's damn good, man. He's damn good. Like, it was surprising. And like you said, I think that's what Zach says when he talks about what this reign is going to be. He said it's just going to be pure, fast-paced, strong style battles. No mess, no gimmicks, just wrestling. And like you said, even for someone like Ishii, who's usually in wars and beating the hell out of people, and yes, he still beat the hell out of Zach. But like you said, he wrestled with him too. And he was, surviving every transition and every submission that Zach pulled out. It was a couple of times before the finish where I thought, there's no way Ishii getting out of there. And he still got to the rope. So then as the time went on, I love the 15-minute time limit. The pace that they had to go at towards the end, because Ishii was trying to win within 15 minutes, was awesome. Because if Zach survives 15 minutes, he still retains. But Zach wants to finish people within these 15 minutes. And like you said, if this is the way Zach is going to do the rest of this reign, we in for a special first New Japan title reign for Zack Sabre Jr. And this is like you said, first match in his front man era. He's the front man now of TMDK. I loved it.
He's gold, and again, you've seen him speaking American as well as we've seen. Still can't get used to maybe the blonde hair. And another statistic that kind of we worked out, or Monty even gave us, the fact that Zach has never faced Jay White either. And of course, we're going to get onto Jay White in a little bit. But I don't know what's more... Jackson, what do you think's crazier? Like, Zack Sabre never faced Jay White, or the fact that Tomohiro Ishii was in a music video? Like, what's crazier?
I have to say, I think it's going to be Ishii in the music video, especially because it was... obviously, I wasn't understanding the lyrics, but it seemed to me like she was pining after him, and it just... I don't know why, but I could not stop laughing.
Yes. You're chasing after Ishii.
Don't get me wrong, He dressed well. I was like, look, check him out in his suit. We're so used to seeing him in his wrestling gear. So, like, he scrubs up well. But I just could not take the music video seriously. I was laughing so much.
But really, really, like I said, good stuff there. Junior heavyweight title match, Hiromu Takahashi versus Yo. And this was a great match with a really story. Talking about Yo, could he break out into singles? And the crowd were actually behind him in this one. And also, could Hiromu's leg stand the test? It could, as he drove Yo to the mat with a time bomb to score the win. But again, Monty, we're talking about matches like this, where he's got kind of a couple of defences under his belt now, and Yo loses nothing to defeat. And if anything, you think, as we've talked about, a few more victories and maybe in a year's time, it could be different.
100%. Like, that's exactly what this was for Yo. Like you said, Yo is someone who shined in the tag division for the junior heavyweights for a long time now. And, when he tried to go first on his singles run before he got injured, it wasn't that he wasn't successful, but he wasn't making the wave that he's made since he came back. And like you said, those people really were rooting for Yo by the end of that match. And like you said, Hiromu pulled it all out of him, in a very special way. And I just want to talk, like I said, for someone like me who have been able to watch Yo from the beginning, not only was I proud, just like a lot of those people in that arena were, of his effort, but it was also the fact that, Hiromu has a dream of making the junior heavyweight title just as important as as Okada's belt. So, he wants to actually be a junior heavyweight, not leave his division, but challenge and beat Okada one day. Like, that's literally his dream. And like, that's how big Hiromu is in the junior division at this point as a 5-time champion. Like, he's one of the greatest. So for Yo to go in there and be able to, bring the greatest to this brink like that and survive throughout that match, a lot of moments towards the end there where I was like, there's no way Yo is getting out of that. He still got out of it. Just one of the best matches that I've seen this year. I definitely recommend it. And that's why Hiromu wants to be in the main event of his own shows, because those are the type of efforts that he's going to put into these junior heavyweight championship defenses.
Yeah, no, really, really good stuff. February 8th and February 9th, Road to New Beginning shows, and February 11th, New Beginning in Osaka. The main event matches, we got a loser leaves Japan, Hikale versus Jay White, title match Tamatonga versus ELP, and Okada versus Shingo. But again, this is another great thing about watching New Japan, especially for myself, is to seeing Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenta. Yes, first time I've seen these two clash, and it's kind of weird because you think, they've been around for so long. And Monty, I'm sure they've faced each other off kind of hundreds of times as it was. But, to see these two go at it, and it's really fun with Tanahashi getting a victory as well with a high fly flow. But like I said, I'm sure those two have got loads of history. Then we had the never open weight 6-man tag team title match, House of Torture versus Strong Style. We see Suzuki kicking everyone away as he and Desperado tied up Evo and Sho in submissions, following Narita to apply the Cobra Twist on Takahashi for the submission win. After the match, Suzuki announced that himself, Ren Narita, and El Desperado will simply be known as Strong Style. So new 6-man tag team champions there. Is that much of a shock, Monty, or is this just moving on from Suzuki-gun?
It's definitely a shock, in different ways. It's definitely both. I think it's a little bit of both of what you said, because this is Suzuki's next chapter here, being a member of Strong Style. But, in this faction, there is no leader. He's not the leader. Ren's not the leader. Despi's not the leader. They're basically just joining up. They have a common goal of just being, it seems like they're just going to inflict what true Strong Style is on the rest of the roster. And honestly, I think everyone in that arena, you heard the cheers when they snapped those submissions in. Everybody in that arena wanted House of Torture away from the championship. They hate the House of Torture. And, so good riddance, even though, I have a soft spot for Evil, but until he gets away from them, he's probably going to always be this version of himself. So, yeah, no, everyone was happy that Strong Style walked out as champions, and I think we're all excited to see what's next for this, trio. Despi's gonna obviously lead the charge in the junior division. Suzuki and Ren Narita now. I mean, they're also going to defend the belts now as champs. But, you have Ren Narita and Suzuki now being heavyweight members. Will they be recruiting other members? That's always a possibility when you have a group that doesn't have as many numbers as some of the other groups in New Japan. But, we'll have to see. We have to watch and see what happens. But, yeah, it's definitely some exciting times for, a fresh group in New Japan. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, and also, like I said, Ren Narita's first championship in New Japan. We had loser leaves Japan match versus Jay White. This, again, was a really, really fun match, with the crowd maybe not believing Jay White would lose. But we saw right at the end as well. Again, great bit of visual with Hikuleu with the going to hit Jay White with a choke slam, and Jay White tried for the 2-sweet, got it, and then got hit with a thunderous choke slam, and Hikuleu got the biggest win of his career as well. I mean, Jay White losing to Hikuleu. Is Hikuleu the right guy? Like I said, I mean, I know Jay White's treated him like shit, but it looks like he had the last laugh. And it is a shame that the Switchblade is done in Japan.
Yeah, again, because I am only just kind of getting into following storylines and story patterns within New Japan, I'm not sure whether or not Hikuleo wasn't the right man, to be the one to send Jay on his way. What I do know is the match itself was great. There was a lot of, obviously, writing into it, a lot of emotions going into it. I think that personally there was more emotion I was emotionally invested more in like the Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match. But again, I wasn't there to follow Hikuleo's run with the Bullet Club with Jay, so I could have a different outlook on how personal that match really was, and significant that match really was for not just Jay White, but for Hikuleo's, for that next step up in his career within New Japan. So do I think the right outcome happened? Yes, I do. I'm just kind of more interested and intrigued to see where Jay is going to go next. I'm hoping we will see him, in a lot more other promotions now that he's a lot more free. I don't think this will be the end for Jay in New Japan, but I do think it's now a great way for Jay to branch out and, find himself in other promotions and see what he can bring to those promotions,
Yeah, well, we definitely be at the Battle in the Valley, so it'll be interesting to see what Jay White does there, and talk about history with people. Tama Tonga, of course, history with Jay White. He defended the Neverweight Promoted title match versus El Fantasmo in a really good match. ELP, I just really enjoy his stuff. Just really, really nice. And I tell you something, I mean, Gina, Tama Tonga, how ripped is Tama Tonga? Like, I don't think we give it credit, I don't want to kind of go out on other people's physiques, but Tama Tonga, man, I was like, damn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really notice him much. Again, I haven't watched a lot of New Japan, but I kind of started watching around the G1 time. And although, like, I knew Tama Tonga, my eyes were sort of looking at loads of other different wrestlers. So even though I was intrigued by his, like, fights whenever he was on screen, I kind of forgot about him after. But the more I've been watching New Japan, I keep thinking, like, has he gotten bigger? Or did I just not really notice him that much during the G1 series? But no, I've definitely just grown to love him more and more each time I see him.
Yeah, and like I said, and again, it's another. I mean, you could argue there's too many championships in New Japan, but at least someone like Tama Tonga is, kind of defending their title and having really good matches as well. So like I said, it's good. At this moment in time. And then the main event, IWGP World Heavyweight title match, Kazuchika Okada versus Shingo Takagi. Monty, all I can think, I know Shingo's your boy, I know you've got a lot of them, but there must have been some point where you're hoping he could get the job done. But unfortunately, the Rainmaker put Shingo away. But these guys are incapable of having bad matches.
Yeah, man, this was a classic to me, man. And like to have the people, I don't think that's been stated enough. Throughout these events, we finally got a chance to hear more of what the crowds are like in New Japan, and to like this match, especially in my opinion, was made better just by those people and just how much they were kind of mixed at the beginning, but as that match went on, everyone wanted Shingo to find a way to get through Okada, and Shingo looked like a beast, like you said, throughout this match. This was 32 minutes, but I promise you, for me, it felt like a breeze. Like I didn't even notice it the night of when I was watching it. I definitely woke my fiance up screaming about some of the false finishes in this match. You're damn right, James. I thought he had a chance at winning, even though I know better. Like I know better. Yeah. I wasn't rooting against Okada, but I know. Like it was a couple moments where I was like, "No, Shingo has this, man." But like, it was great, man. I knew it would be good. Like you said, they're incapable of having bad matches, but I didn't think it would be as good as it was. And I could put this right next to Ospreay and Omega and me, because just for my match of the year so far, just because I really, really enjoyed these two guys going against each other, two champions. Okada after the match, paying respect to all the work Shingo did during the pandemic, which was, holding this company on his shoulders. That's from Okada's words himself. So to hear someone like Okada kind of tip his cap to Shingo and say they can't wait to do it again, it just makes me excited for the next time they fight.
Yeah, without a doubt, really, really good stuff. Then Okada cut a promo talking about Battle in the Valley. He'll be defending the, of course, World Heavyweight Championship. He calls out Hiroshi Tanahashi for the match. And, of course, the challenge is accepted. So let's jump over to the good old US of A to see they have built for the battle on the program that no one watches, New Japan Strong. So quick notes here, don't worry. January 7th, Kenta won the first ever Strong Survivor match and earns a shot at the Strong Openweight champion Fred Rosser at Battle in the Valley. January 14th, we see Filthy appear at the top of the show, interrupting Alex Kozlov, who should never be done. He, Danny Limelight, Bobby Fish would take on Homicide, Eddie Kingston and David Finlay in a 6-man tag later in the show. He complained about Homicide and the fact he's just a street fighter who doesn't have balls, so he challenged him to a Filthy Rules no DQ match at Battle in the Valley. Fans were really hot for Kingston, of course chanting Eddie, until Jay White rolled in the ring where Kingston's back was turned. White backed off and rolled out. He unfolded the chair and told Kingston this is how it's supposed to be used and sat on it before jaw-jacking with Kingston, and the match was laid out for Battle in the Valley February 17th. And then finally, January 28th, for the last Strong ever, Fred Rosser beat Pretty Peter Avalon. Yes, the guy that got destroyed by Chris Jericho on Dynamite recently challenged Fred Rosser, but Fred got the job done. He grabbed the mic and ordered Kenta to get his ass out here. Kenta came to the ring and they stared each other down. Rosser told him in San Jose he would be leaving with 3 boots, 2 on Kenta's feet and 1 in his ass. So that is Strong. And again, quite sad Strong has finished now. And it's going to transform. Because, Monty, we spoke about this before with New Japan Strong. And it's going to change basically into 2 things. Strong Live and Strong On Demand. Strong Live events will be like the Battle in the Valley show that we're going to get February 18th. And, of course, other ones that will come up like Capital Collision. And then Strong On Demand will be the same show, then cut up into weekly chunks. So 3 matches on each show before you will then see Battle in the Valley on New Japan Strong. Monty, we've talked about a lot of streaming. Is this the best way for New Japan to go at the moment? Because then you're not spending money having to create new content and catch up on Battle in the Valley if they're not paying for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that this is probably the most efficient way for them to do it right now. Running events in both countries and trying to do things and also still have both talents, because you want some talents that's in Japan in New Japan Strong, and you want some in New Japan Strong talent to slowly start to debut in Japan. This is probably the most efficient way to do that, along with having a separate, enough people per roster on the roster ready to do the live events anyway that you have planned. So it just makes sense going forward, even though, like you mentioned, it's really, really sad to see something that was a weekly show, something that was so because and I want to use this word on purpose. Like, it's palatable for newcomers. Like, it was a weekly show. It was something that people are used to if you're from this side of the world. And it's way less intimidating than getting into trying to figure out what's going on in the schedule and understanding just what's going on in Japan. So, like, you can still watch the big events in Japan, but keep up with Strong on a weekly basis or whatever, depending on how you got the best of both worlds in that retrospect. So it's really sad to see Strong go for that reason. But when it comes to cost efficiency and how much how much it costs probably to run these shows, in the LA, from the dojo and all that type of stuff. So it makes a lot of sense when you think about what they're trying to do with these events, especially if Battle in the Valley is any proof. These events are going to get bigger, as if you haven't noticed. That seemed to be the direction they're trying to head. So if New Japan Strong live events get bigger, it makes sense to want to do be as cost efficient as possible.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Speaking of Battle in the Valley, the big news, of course, is Mercedes Moné debut, and she's reportedly scheduled to work 2 matches in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom in April. One of them will be Sakura Genesis, which will be on April 8th, and then expected to work Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom show, got to be careful of that, on April 23rd. It will mark Stardom's debut at Yokohama Arena. Now, Gene, I want to talk about Mercedes Moné quickly before we get onto it. But I think this is great. And, I think she's making the right choice doing the New Japan shows rather than just like AEW, because that's always going to be an option. And I think people are more excited to see her because she's not been seen weekly at this moment in time. Or am I wrong, do you reckon?
No, definitely. Do you know what? I know this is going to be very bad, and I might get a lot of shit for this, but fans are unselfish assholes. They're like real big selfish assholes. They just want what they want in a show, not what's best for the actual wrestler in general. They just want what they want. And for me, the typical move would have been to go to AEW. Yes, we all wanted it. I would have even been happy with it. But to be honest, I think in the long run, that isn't the best move for Mercedes right now. She's doing so much in terms of her acting career, especially with having just done the newest season of Mandalorian. But she's also expressed so much how much she wants to be in the New Japan circuit. So to be honest, that was the best move for her to make, because there's not as much demand for her to be on every weekly show, etc. as well. Whereas AEW, because she would be so shit hot there and everyone would want to see her weekly, it might not match up with her acting schedule. So for me, this is the best move that Mercedes could have made for herself. And yes, it would be nice to see her turn up in AEW, but I don't need her there right now. I'm just happy with her being in New Japan.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? At the moment, it feels really, really good. We did get an update from Jay White and Eddie Kingston as well on Wrestling Observer Live that it will be a loser leaves New Japan match, which is not that much surprise. One nice surprise that I got is the fact New Japan and Impact will join forces for Multiverse United, which will take place March 30th in Los Angeles. It is already sold out. So, Monty, like I said, with Battle in the Valley and with this show as well, and Impact recently has been selling out. So, I know it might be small arenas, but there is interest here. But for me, this is going to be fucking mental, because you've got Josh Alexander, who for me arguably is he's one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. He will be defending his title against Kushida in the main event, whilst we also get Speedball Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay. I cannot tell you how excited I am for that match. If anybody doesn't know Mike Bailey, fucking hell, this match is going to be crazy. And again, it's for Impact with not only we're going to get Jeff Cobb versus Moose as well. So it's going to be a crazy show,
Yeah, and the more you talk about it, I already see why it's sold out. It makes sense why it's already sold out. It's one of those cards that when I read it, I was like, you know what, that could get me trying to actually watch Impact for a change. Like I may actually get back into Impact after a card like that. So yeah, no, it's a great lineup. Mike Bailey. First of all, Speedball is one of the best parts of Impact by far. His matches and stuff he does, and they fought in the past. Him and Ospreay have had special moments in the past, but not this version of Ospreay, and not this version of him. So I can't wait to see where they are now and just see how much the improvement. Because that's the thing about Ospreay. Ospreay is nowhere near who he was if you fought him in like 2018. Like, he's a completely different beast now. And the same thing goes for a lot of other talent around the world. So I can't wait to see that match. Josh Alexander versus Kushida will be a great clash of style of technical wrestling and Kushida's submission-based techniques. He's very, very dangerous. Would he win it? It's something that I'm seriously doubting because of how dominant Alexander is. But that's going to be fun. And then, like you said, Moose and Jeff Cobb, two big guys. Two athletic big guys too. Like, yeah, it could be this could be a special night for Impact and New Japan.
Honestly, I can't wait. And also, just other news quickly. Of course, Ring of Honor has had its first set of TV tapings and now is back. Tapings were held at Universal Studios, where AEW films Dark. Of course, there's been a few, bits and pieces of this as we head towards. I mean, Jaxie, any interest in shelling out another $9.99 to watch Ring of Honor?
I mean, I wouldn't pay for it. I'll just maybe wait until I can catch up on it. There is interest there, but I'm already watching enough wrestling as it is. I don't really want to have to pay for it. Yeah, I don't really want to have to pay for Ring of Honor, if I'm truly honest. I want to support, I really do, but I'm trying to support myself right now, So, yeah, I might just wait for to hear a catch up from yourselves on that one.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I've made a decision at the moment not to watch it. I'm sure there'll be great matches. Zack Sabre Jr. did defend his apparently his TV title on there, which I was like, shall I? But again, it's not. No, wait and see what happens. Like we said, hopefully
more traction, there might be more scope and interest for me to want to actually keep up with Ring of Honor. And then, sort of like going forward, if that is the case, then of course I would dedicate myself to it. You've seen this happen even with New Japan. But right now there's not enough traction, and I've not got enough time right now to keep up on every promotion. So I might just stick with the regular Ring of Honor catch-ups that we get throughout AEW at this moment in time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And then one of the most confusing stories, I think, in wrestling at this moment in time is the fact that, so over here, WWE, the rights are owned by BT Sports. And I'm sure people know who BT Sports are. We get that available through Sky and everything like this. But BT Sport, as we know in the UK, disappear and be rebranded TNT Sports. Now, TNT Sports is already used as Warner Brothers Sports brand on Latin America and in the US. In the UK, it will carry, of course, Premier League, Champions League, and WWE with UFC. But what I'm confused with is that if it's Warner Brothers... In America, Monty, isn't Warner Brothers, TNT, and TBS what AEW is on?
Yeah, as far as I know, like Turner, Warner, Broadcast. Yeah, as far as I know, something like that.
So in America, AEW would be on TNT, but in UK, WWE would be on TNT.
Right? Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah, Turner definitely Warner, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to cause any confusion.
Warner Media.
Yeah, Peacock, because I know you ride the cock as well in America. We've got that, but obviously it doesn't have any WWE stuff on it because we've got the antiquated WWE network still. So, I mean, that will be fun. Soon. It'll just be TNT.
Hopefully the WWE network still have old episodes in chronological order. You go to the Attitude Era on Peacock and they're not even in order anymore.
Well, all that confusion did use Fight TV to watch Battle in the Valley. So this is what we're going to talk about. February 18th. There was a pre-show. on YouTube, but weirdly enough, it started like halfway through the Alex Coughlin and JR Kratos match, which Alex Coughlin won. Big meaty men slapping meat. I do hope Alex and JR get a chance in New Japan. These two have been great and strong, and another negative about strong ending is where we're going to see these guys crop up, and I'm sure, hopefully, they've got space for these guys, Monty, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I think that's what we're probably going to see. I think some of these people you will definitely start to see popping up in Japan, in some of these newer factions possibly. And also, or, because like you just mentioned, with Ring of Honor having the places to work and other, Impact, you may see more, New Japan faces that you saw on Strong all the time popping back up in Impact or popping back up in Ring of Honor. So, New Japan has a lot of, partners right now. So you'll have to see. They probably have plenty of options on where a lot of talent can be. But, I hope most of them get a chance to at least spend some time in Japan, too.
Yeah. And then we had David Finlay beat Bobby Fish. Poor Bobby. No one loves him. I mean, no one loves him. I mean, no one loves him. Even the crowd here were like, fuck
no one.
You. We do not care.
I don't get it. Like, what happened?
What did he do? When did he become X-Pac?
Like
what?
He begged for his job back, I think, or something, and everybody's like, "Oh, screw you, Bobby." What happened?
I know.
Fuck knows. But Finn looks ready to break out, and I'm glad I put that there because we're going to see, as we get to the main show, Ian Riccaboni with Matt Raywald, and again, Matt Raywald on Impact, fantastic. And Scott D'Amore for the first match. So real Impact feel as we had Adrian Quest, Josh Alexander, the Impact Heavyweight Champion, Mascarado Dorado and Rocky Romero versus the DKC, Kevin Knight, Kushida and Volador Jr. Now, he's the only one I weren't sure about, and there was some interesting interactions between Rocky and Volador, with Rocky avoiding him at points. Still, the crux of this was Kushida and Alexander's a preview, and it was great because the exchanges were the highlight. I love the electric chair drop kick combo by Knight and Kushida. I am warming on them as a team just because of athleticism as it was, but the finish saw Kushida trap Alexander in a hoverboard lock as Knight beat the DKC with a pendulum DDT. But give me Kushida versus Alexander. Jaxie, start us off. What do you think of this opener? Because like I said, I love Josh Alexander. He's the longest reigning Impact champion in history. But, I mean, for you, he's just another fella.
I mean, it was a great opener. I think there was, there was quite a few people that stood out. Josh Alexander, I've seen him in a few Impact matches myself. So I knew he had a lot to bring anyway. Seeing Kushida again, in sort of a New Japan ring just really goes to show you how underutilized he was in WWE. So it was really nice and just a fun match to kind of watch everyone showcase their shit. There's a lot of talent in that ring, and I think for an opening match, it really kind of gets you pumped up for what's to come.
And the thing I liked about Volador is even when you're not sure about a certain wrestler, and then he does stuff like that, and you go, do you know what? That's actually really, really impressive. Like I said, it was a fun opener to get the crowd into it,
Agree, yeah.
We're going to score out of 5 for the main show, so what would you give the opener out of 5?
I mean, it was a good match. I didn't have a lot of investment in it, so I'll give it like a 3.5. But yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah. Monty, what about you?
Yeah, I think I wrote like 3.7 stars. I don't know why I did such a weird rating, but anyway, yeah, no, I liked it. It was like, even though the technical difficulties kind of ruined a lot of the pre-show for me, this match really picked the show energy and my energy up. So it definitely did its job as the opener. Kevin Knight looked great, like you mentioned, and seeing Josh and Kushida go at it was fun, and also it made sense once you knew about the card coming up. So it was just again very smart booking. So it was a great way, enjoyable way to get things going for the night, I thought. So I put 3.7. I'm sticking with it. I don't know why, but yeah.
Well, this is the thing. There was technical difficulties because I didn't watch, of course, till later on. But I think the show started like 45 minutes late or something like that. Which again, I'm never going to have a go about technical difficulties. I stand them more than anybody. But again, for your big show to kind of kick off, it's like, oh, okay, but not an issue. I think, like I said, the crowd were definitely into it. Gina, what about you for the opener?
Yeah, I wasn't that invested, so I gave it 3.
Yeah, fair enough. And then we had the Strong Openweight Championship match, Fred Rosser versus Kenta. Kenta control wore Rosser down before he made a comeback. That showed the fire that Rosser's had this past year. The crowd maybe weren't that emotionally invested into it, but it did when Rosser survived the game over. There was a lot of shenanigans with ref bumps and Kenta tapping out. So technically, Fred Rosser's still champion. But Juice Robinson showed up, hit Rosser with a foreign object, and Kenta won. This was a big match for me. You know, been a fan of Kenta pre-NXT, and Fred has been the driving force for Strong and made me forget about Darren Young. But Gina, what do you think about the former Darren Young versus Kenta?
I mean, I don't really know the Darren Young character that well, but I know Kenta more, so I was definitely Team Kenta. And I love his longer hair because he had shorter hair in the G1 series, so it was really cool to see the longer hair as well. So yeah, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, what would you score that out of 5?
I gave it a 4.
I said, no, I think Fred for me is one of these guys that's worked to try and move away from like the primetime players and be more serious. And as champion, I think it's just a bit of a shame it's the second match on the card. I mean, Monty, do you think, again, you know, I know people care as much as I do, but it seemed a bit weird that I thought it was going to be quite an interesting matchup. It was only like second on the card.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly probably could have traded places with Lawler and Homicide when you think about it. When you think about the importance of the belt, seeing as it is like one of the main titles of Strong. But yeah, like you said, the placement of it was kind of confusing in hindsight. It was even before the tag title match. So yeah, so I guess that's a great interesting point. But it was still a physical battle. It turned out into a really good match. He was probably a little overbooked, and I thought Fred really worked hard, and I know he was a good champion while it lasted, and it was so screwy. Who knows? He may get another shot at it. I don't know if it'll be in Japan. I don't know if it'll just be on another one of these live shows, but we could definitely see it again sooner than later with a finish like that. But I still gave it 4 stars, like you mentioned earlier. It was still a really enjoyable match.
Yeah, I know. I really, really liked it. Jackson, what about you?
Yeah, you guys said pretty much the same things as I would. I gave this a 3.9. I thought it was a good match, and I really do enjoy Kenta. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I'm always just fascinated watching him in the ring.
Yeah, it's always, it's like I said, it's weird because even now he's kind of a veteran. We're still seeing. I think he's still got a couple of good years, maybe in a few good years ahead of him. So it'll be interesting to see what he does now as new Strong Openweight champion. I'm going to give it like 4 out of 5. We then have the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship, the Motor City Machine Guns versus the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which have got one of the best names in tag team wrestling. The challengers jump the champs to start. We've got a great spot where Isaacs walks a stalling for vertical suplex all the way around the ringside area. That jump start put the champs on the defense, and Shelley got isolated. Saban got the hot tag and did his thing, but he had a rare bit of miscommunication as Saban hit Shelley with a boot. That swung the momentum again as challengers reeled off some impressive offense for near falls. A lot of Nelson's offense come off really well, and the Guns went into the Signet Chandler stuff late and retained their titles. Of course, West Coast is part of Team Filthy. Of course, they were saying they were strong. Motor City Machine Guns can't have bad tag matches. It's a shame, though, they will never face teams like the Usos, the New Day, or Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy. Monty, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's like you said, it was solid. There's a lot of good action in this one. I don't think it was like special, but it was definitely really, really good. And like you said, it's hard for the Motor City Machine Guns to not have a good match. I thought everyone looked good. He looked fine. The thing is, for its place on the card, and maybe after like the Fred Rosser match, I probably wasn't paying as much attention as I would have been if I was more invested in what they had going on coming into the tag title match. But it still ended up being, like you said, really solid. So I gave it 3 3/4. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Jaxie, what about you?
I think I gave this a 3.5.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on most of it done anyway? Because the lead team you've seen a lot.
I'm pretty sure I've seen them in where are they from? They from Impact, right?
Yeah, Impact.
Yeah, I think I've seen them in Impact before. I got to admit, I was a little bit distracted in this match, but I didn't really feel like they stood out as much to me as, say, like TJP and Akira.
Yeah, no, that said, I mean, they're not everybody's cup of tea, but they've been around for so long. I mean, the legendary battles on Impact. Gina, what be you out of 5?
I gave it 3 3/4.
Yeah, I gave that a 4. Like I said, I thought it was nice. Bit rushed for my liking. And up next, loser leaves New Japan. Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. So if Jay loses that, New Japan. If Eddie loses, he can compete for the company, but he has to ask for Jay's permission. So basically, he never begs, so he will quit as well. Jay's stalling tactics start. That made sense here is Kingston, of course, is a hothead who couldn't wait to get his hands on him. Once Jay thought he had the upper hand, Kingston laid him out with a chop. Eddie was on offense. We got some hard-hitting stuff. Jay took over. He walked a more methodical style. They got kicked into next gear when they started throwing chops, and Jay's chest was red from the assault. I never thought you go against Jay White and get the better of him in chops. Jay used a low blow load to set up Blade Runner, but Eddie rolled or fell outside, meaning it had to continue. There was a back fist near fall, which was really well done. Eddie offered up the fist bump afterwards, but Jay spat at the hand, meaning it took 2 more back fists and a flurry of moves, only to still kick out. Northern Lights driver beat Jay and sent him packing from New Japan. So we'll talk about the match. I mean, Jaxie, I think he's done. I do think Jay White's done. You know, we'll talk about the match in itself, but why would they make such a song and dance of him leaving Japan and this if he was just going to go AEW, where they have the forbidden door, you know?
I mean, yeah, he's just kind of been shoved out twice now, and by the likes of and by the likes of Eddie Kingston as well, who's not a regular in New Japan as well, and is still telling you to get out, you know? So, yeah, Jay, you're gone, bruv. There's not really to say to that. Like, the devastation on his face just said it all, you know? Like, it's really rare right now to see Eddie pick up a win, especially with like how things have been on AEW. So no one was expecting to come out winning this. So that really royally screwed over Jay White. Like, bruv, you're gone. You better go say goodbye to your fellow Bullet Club members and maybe get in touch with some of your American-based Bullet Club members because you're gone.
It's quite a shock, like you said, Eddie get the win.
I mean, he just got chopped the fuck out of by Eddie, though. It was actually starting to get really painful to just even watch.
They literally knocked each other. You know, the spit was flying.
Honestly, you just could feel the rawness coming from both of them. And, you know, I did not envy either man in that situation. I don't think I could have survived those chops. I'd have called a tea straight away. I'd have shouted at my sister, throw the towel in. I can't take this. Let's go home. I need like my mum. It was a good match.
What would you score out of 5?
I think with what stakes were involved and stuff like that, I'm gonna give it a 4.25 because I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Like Gina, it's not been the best month for Jay White, I think it'd be fair to say. But he's doing the right thing when you leave a territory, because if you look at how like the Good Brothers left, at least Jay White is doing the JOB. And again, Eddie Kingston winning as well. What were your thoughts and what 5?
I mean, I was happy Eddie got the win because in AEW lately he seems to be the one taking the losses. So for me, I was super happy with Eddie getting the win. But I also was a little bit confused because I wasn't truly up to date with what was happening or what was going on. So I was really confused. Like, I thought Jay was leaving already. I thought that was decided. So I was a little bit confused by the match itself and why it was even taking place. But, Sensei Monty cleared that up and clarified for me. So after understanding it again, with the stakes that were so high with this match, I thought it was really good. And I was kind of on the edge, like, oh no, because Eddie takes all the L's in AEW, maybe he's going to take the L here, and then Jay will get to stay in this side of, New Japan. But no, when he got that win, it was quite shocking to me. So it was a really good match. And that, again, I couldn't predict the outcome. So I prefer matches like that where I'm not so sold on who's going to win the match. So I gave it a 4.5.
Excellent stuff. Well, post-match, as Jay was getting a goodbye from the crowd and a thank you, Jay, and looking at the New Japan logo, his old rival David Finlay attacked him. He hit him with a shillelagh and said he's the outsider wherever he goes. He talked about being a fourth-generation wrestler and ran down White for call himself a savage. Finn calling his shot. Just don't be a Jay White wannabe, and don't let the crowd call the shots either. And I tell you something, Monty... Go on. I was going to say that Finjuice have turned into arseholes. Like, when I first saw Finjuice, they were like a really nice baby face tag team.
Happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, nice
you want
colours.
to go have a beer with them.
Yeah, Impact champions, and what the fuck happened? Like, who touched them? Like, do you know what I mean? They have turned into arseholes.
Being nice got them, moderate success, but they both figured out that being an asshole is the only way to
so I've got
to move up the card.
I've got 3 big questions for you, Monty. First question is obviously the match itself. What would you score that out of 5?
Okay, so we're going one at a time. All right, so I give it 4.25. I thought it was really good, especially like the storytelling. Those two, Eddie and Jay, like you said, not only was it physical, but those two put so much emotion into everything they do that it's really hard not to get invested. Even when I knew, like you mentioned, that Jay was probably going to lose because of all the rumors and because he had already lost out of Japan. So, like, what's the point of just keeping him relegated to Strong? So I was, or especially when Strong was ending. So I'm like, he's not. What are he going to do? Just work the live? What is he going to be doing if he wins? Then explain that to me.
Yeah, 4 months.
Right,
work every 4 months. Like,
yeah. So the thing is, though, they still, like I said, made it very believable. It was a lot of passion in the match, and I thought it was a fitting end to one of the best New Japan runs ever, man. Especially by a foreign talent and all the things he was able to accomplish. I watched him from day one. I remember when he was a young lion and left, and he told Osaka, that was another thing about his match earlier. He mentioned, Hikuleo was going to have his family on his side, and he did have his family on his side no matter what happened in that match. Well, Jay White, Hikuleo questioned, where's his family going to be? Where's the Bullet Club? Well, they weren't there at the end of that match, and that's when he admitted that the New Japan fans, Osaka, those people, that's his family. So when he said that, it was like, nah, so it's getting a little too poetic to me for him to be, seriously coming back. So I was really doubting that he was going to win this match. But, like you said, just have Eddie win. When he doesn't win, he rarely wins. So it was still up there, still a crapshoot. I thought it was still a really good match, so I gave it 4.25.
Well, this is the thing with Jay White as well, to come one of the most successful kind of wrestlers coming over there, as it was, as a foreigner, as it is, for the success he's had, to be the age he is as well. And like I said, the Switchblade has been, he's up Madison Square Garden. He's sold out all these different shows. So to finally leave, and again, in a deeper sense, with the Hikuleo and the Tamatonga thing, he could say that he fucked himself in a storyline perspective, even anything like that from Bullet Club, by deciding that Tamatonga wasn't going to be part of the group anymore, and then it comes to the circle, like I said, with Hikuleo finally shown, no, you were wrong about us, Right, second question. Are we just expected to Finlay to do the Jay White gimmick, and the Japanese crowd just won't notice because it's a white guy with long hair? Is that fair to say?
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think Finlay, the New Japan Cup is coming. He's going to be in it. So, he had a big showing last year, almost won it, came close, and I think now he's just going to get a little bit more edgier. And I think a lot of his frustration was, Jay White was someone he couldn't get around at the time. If you remember when he was making his climb, Jay White was always there to knock him down, whether it was when he was younger or as for the actual championship or in these spots. So he kind of was like disrespected that Jay was getting not only a thank you chant, but it was also a situation where it's like, Jay, you're letting this go after always being the person that he wanted to be better than. And it's kind of like one of those things. Like, you leave it now, and like I'm really coming into my own. Like, I got big things that I plan on doing. I want to become champion and have Jay White there to throw it in his face that I'm champion. I think it was more of that type of thing. But again, I think Finley's gonna have to do a lot more than try to pretend to be Jay White to establish himself in New Japan. It's as much as it is in a character, as much as he possibly could be joining the Bullet Club. It would make him a nice hypocrite if he joined the Bullet Club. But
at least we have Finn Juice back together.
Yeah, we would have Finn Juice, and they would be a lot rougher, right?
Bullet Juice.
Juice spitting everywhere and all of that. Yeah.
Juice Club.
Disgusting.
Whatever they call them. All right.
Juice Club, exactly.
The biggest question, I know it's taking a lot of time, but the biggest question I've got, and I'm sure Jackson Jr. are thinking this as well. Bullet Club. What happens to Bullet Club now?
Yes.
And who is there? And will we see something happen, like maybe someone joining or like a heel turn to become... Surely Bullet Club need a face, yes?
It's true. That usually what happens is you get that decision pretty obvious because the boss gets turned on, and the next guy kind of is the leader of the guy. Everyone else.
Finley.
Yeah. So Finley could be exactly that, but I guess he wasn't in the club, so. But yeah, Finley might be next. Who knows? It's really up in the air right now. I was thinking maybe Kenta, but Kenta hasn't vocalized wanting to do that yet. And I don't know. They haven't had a Japanese leader of the Bullet Club anyway, so I'm assuming whoever it is probably going to be foreign. So yeah, maybe David Finley, like you said, maybe Juice returns to Japan. Who knows right now? It's really up in the air, and I think that's really exciting. A lot of people was even projecting would this be the end, with the club just disband, kind of like Suzuki doing, and just start doing individual different things. It's really exciting to see what the possibility is. I don't know the way Bullet Club merch sells. I doubt they'll be done. But I really doubt they'll be done the way they sell merch. But yeah, I can't wait to see who's next, who could possibly step up as the leader, man. It's going to be exciting times. ELP was somebody I would like probably in that position, but is it too soon? Is he ready to take that step and actually be taken seriously? Because he does play a little bit too much to sometimes. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens to Bullet Club.
Yeah, well, as I say, it's something to look forward to the next couple of months now for New Japan to look towards as well. I'll give that a 4.5 out of 5. We'll move on to our filthy rules match. Homicide versus Tom Lawyer. This felt weirdly placed here, but I do like it filthy. So the rules dictated this would be no DQ, there were no ropes. Lawyer brought down to the ring because he called Homicide a garbage wrestler. And that set the stage for a lot of wacky weapon usage, like a hammer, a door, and even Homicide stabbing Lawyer's boot with a fork. Some stuff looked downright brutal, like using a piece of the turnbuckle hook to maim Homicide, and the big spot where both men went through the door was pretty cool. Lawyer did a dive off a ladder, a sweet straitjacket knee to the back, and then one with a rear naked choke complete with Homicide. And again, I love this. Flipping him off. I'm not going to tap out. I'll flip you off as I pass out. Tom is showing us he can wrestle all styles. Gina, what do you think of this? Because Tom Lawyer is a filthy, filthy man.
I mean, he did not impress me at all when I very first kind of saw him. I wasn't excited to see him, and every time he had a match, I was just not really interested in paying attention. This match, for some reason, I was really interested in it, and it felt like I was seeing a different side of Tom Lawler that I haven't seen before. Again, I am new with this, so others may be like, this is normal. were not surprised. But for me, I kind of did be like, oh, maybe I should take him a little bit more seriously than I have been. But yeah, I think it's like maybe one of the very first few Tom Lawler matches that I truly enjoyed and actually watched.
Yeah, but this is it, and the door spot looks sick as well. Like when you do, you're not actually gonna, and like even with the ring post and the way it was, it did look dangerous. It could have gone maybe a bit silly, but like I said, both guys kind of
I
delivered
think
it.
that's what I started to like about him, the serious attitude that he was starting to emanate whilst fighting.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like I said, it's a fun match. It was different to anything else on the card. So, what would you score that out of 5?
I'll give it a 4 because again, it was kind of like the first match that I felt a little bit of interest in Tom. So yeah, I'll give it a 4.
Yeah. And Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, this match was actually really interesting, like my sister said, and I actually gained a bit more respect for Tom in terms of a wrestling standpoint. I still think he looks like he smells really bad. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's like his whole persona or if he's got this sort of whole Fred from Big Hero 6 thing going where he only showers like twice a week or something. So I quite wouldn't like to be in his presence because I could imagine the smell wouldn't be great. But I can't deny he's got a lot of talent, a lot more than what I gave him credit for. So for this match, I gave it a 4. It was really good. It was hard hitting, and it was one of those matches that I didn't know much about. I really didn't know how they were going to do with having no ropes in the mat and whether or not they'd forget that sort of thing, and just. I was so worried at some point. You know what I mean? Like, especially when they were in the ring at one point, I thought, what if one of them just goes to like swing them from the rope or something and then remember last minute? That was my train of thought going into it. Clearly, they are more adept to having this type of match than I'm watching. So yeah, I gave it a 4 because I thought it was a really intriguing match. And we'll see what else is to come. But yeah, Tom Lawler could probably have done with getting in the shower after that match.
He is filthy. Monty, what about you?
Yeah, man. Homicide was in his element, man. Somebody like you said, I've watched Impact. I watched a lot of Homicide's work all across the world. He's a dangerous man, and this has really made him look good here. It's a nice tough man, extreme style match. That was, fun. Ended up being a really good brawl. Like you said, a great change of pace from just what was on the rest of the card. Tom Lawler, like you said, blended in. I mean, it is a filthy rules match, so I guess he should blend in and fit right in this environment, but he really did a great job. So it ended up being very, very fun to watch. I gave it 4 stars also.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 4 stars as well. Like I said, it was different on the card. Even like taking the ropes down and taking it, I'm going, what the fuck are they doing? Oh, yeah, no, it makes sense, I suppose. Good stuff. And then the New Japan Television Championship on the line, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Clark Connors. And Zack Sabre Jr. did Zack Sabre Jr. things, like toying with Connors and goading him into strikes. Connors leveled him with chops, but instead of immediately capitalizing, he wanted to trade him and ended up in a Cobra twist for a bit. Sabre played a defensive match. He could just chill and wait for Connors, who had to be the one that wins. Connors used his power for some big offensive moves, but Sabre survived them all. The closing stretch was really good and saw Connors think he had it with an ankle lock, only for Zack to counter into an armbar for the submission victory. And the time limit is great. And Monty, you mentioned this earlier as well, because he gets the win when we think he's going to draw. Compared to how it usually goes in wrestling, this is now going to change my kind of thoughts towards it, because you're thinking, oh, he ain't going to get it. And then, oh, fuck, he did make him tap out. And it's that kind of mad dash to see, that last minute or so. I mean, what do you think of this? Because Zack Sabre Jr. is just delivering at this moment in time, isn't he, Monty?
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, that's what his entire reign can turn into. It can turn into, can you survive wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. in 15 minutes? Are you going to push him to a draw? Like, who's going to be the first one to push him to a draw? Yeah. Who's going to, who can possibly, then you get all the way down to the point to who can possibly take the belt from him. So, again, I love Zack in this format. It just fits his style perfectly. And the fact that he can always switch to whatever submission whenever he wants always makes him dangerous. And he made Clark feel like a threat also. So I feel like this is also, like you said, just great for both guys. He maintained control for most of the match. But, and Clark Connors is only going to improve, in my opinion, in these situations. So, Zach being champion and be able to get good performances out of all his opponents just makes me want him to have this belt forever because, like you said, it could just be a very, very fun spot on every New Japan card, whether it's in Japan or whether it's in America, whether it's Ring of Honor. That can you survive Zack Sabre Jr. for 15 minutes?
Like I said, really, really good. I'm going to give that 4 1/4 for me, because like I said, just enjoyable stuff, Jackson, what would you score that out of 5?
Sorry, which one is this one?
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Clark Connors.
Oh yeah. So I agree with that. With the statements Monty made as well. I gave that a 4 1/4.
Yep. Gina, what about you?
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
Yeah, just really, really good. Have Gina? I know Zach has never been maybe your favourite wrestler, but you gotta start digging him a little bit. Just like maybe if you were to see him at the next event, you might talk to him for a couple of minutes.
No. I mean,
Zach, I tried, bro.
fair enough
I
to his
tried.
matches. If he had a good match, yeah. Do I want his autograph or do I want to meet him? Nah, I think I'd rather choose anyone but him. I'd even take the guy who comes out and takes 20 minutes to sing over him. So, yeah. And that 20-minute singing guy he takes the piss sometimes.
Well, I said we'll move on. No, that's really good stuff. Kevin Knight showed up to congratulate Zack Sabre Jr. He is the next challenger. And then the first of the double main event, IWGP Women's Championship, Kairi, the champ, versus Mercedes Moné, making her debut for New Japan. And come on, this should have gone on last. It sold out the show and would have made the title feel even more important. And we know in the main event there was no way the title was going to change hands. But anyway, we see Moné have dancers for her entrance, and their gear was a tribute to the late Hana Kimura. I mean, what a star. And then the early filling out process saw Mercedes nearly apply the bank statement. It's not called the CEO lock or something like this. I'm trying to CEO receipt, money receipt, cash, not bank statement. But Kairi escaped and Mercedes did the this close troop. A lot of what these two did during the match looked great. Really, really did. The double foot stomp in the corner as Mercedes looked like she got killed. The spot set up where Mercedes became legitimate trouble for a while to turn it round with an apron Meteora. Kairi actually avoided Meteora and turned it into an anchor submission, which was cool. I love the contact between these two. It's even like the submissions that Kairi is hitting, going back and back to back, just feels like you're applying the hold more. We see a Bayley to Bayley, which made people go mental, and Bayley was in attendance as well. Mercedes intentionally pulled the referee into harm's way and the fight to the stage, and Kairi to hit a powerbomb through a table. Back inside, Mercedes blocked the elbow by getting the boots up and looked great. Kairi combated that by getting the knees up for the frog splash, putting her own version of the bank statement, but Mercedes bit the hand to get her free, and as both again were connected, delivered the money maker, the 1-2-3, and your new IWGP Women's Champion, Mercedes Moné. And post-match, Kairi and Mercedes hugged it out for respect, and it showed you how much this match meant to both. Jaxie, what about this, eh? Everybody talked about Sasha Banks, and now it is Mercedes Moné. What a matchup these two women had, though.
I mean, geez.
But they didn't disappoint. Firstly, from a Mercedes Moné standpoint, they didn't disappoint in terms of her returning. She really showed that she's been training, and they mentioned it on commentary quite a bit that she was back in training with Lucha Underground and everything like that. So we knew that she was training back for this. But wow, she really just came back and showed us she's still got it, you know? From another standpoint, Kyrie in defending was one of the best sort of first ever IWGP Women's Champions to defend that belt. She's defended greatly up until this point, and there was not much more she could have actually done to have stopped Mercedes at this point, especially towards the later half of the match. Both women were just delivering some hard-hitting moves, and it was just so impressive to watch. I would happily take this as a round 2 match, and have this match again. Hopefully, again, getting as much exposure to not only New Japan, but New Japan women's wrestling. This was just a great showcase of what they can do in Japan, and what Mercedes can do and what she can bring to New Japan. So this was, as much as a beginning and as it was an ending in terms of Kyrie's reign. And as sad as that is to know that her reign wasn't actually that long, in how short a time she had that belt, I felt like there was an impact made, not just by her, but by the women she defended against, and also now against this sort of history-making match between her and Mercedes. I'm excited to see where things go for Mercedes, and eager to see her reign as IWGP Women's Champion. But I also can't deny that I'm looking forward to Kyrie coming back and challenging again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, really, really good stuff. What would you score this match out of 5?
I'm giving this a 5.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair to say. Gina, what about you? Like I said, there's a lot of talk about Mercedes Moné. Would she be able to perform months off? Would the crowd care? And I think the moment she came out, everybody was emotionally invested.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you don't know who Mercedes Moné is, if you didn't see her in, WWE, or you're not that much of a big fan and you've only just come to New Japan, everyone knew from the minute she came out, okay, there's something shit hot about this girl because the crowd are losing their shit. So for me, I think like it established her caliber in New Japan so well. And I think the match just kind of justified why she got so much hype. So the match was wicked for me, and it was 5-2.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Monty, this was quite a big moment, for New Japan, and I think both women surpassed expectation here.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like you said, the entrance, the tribute to Hana Kimura, it was so special to a lot of people, a lot of Hana Kimura's fans, a lot of co-workers, a lot of people was spreading a lot of love the night of this tribute, because it was just such a beautiful moment. Watching it just made me feel so special. Like I was honored to be watching all of this take place, because again, not too long ago, New Japan, it wasn't if you heard about Stardom working on their pre-shows maybe, and they weren't taped, like it wasn't a win spot on New Japan card. So even though this was in America and it wasn't in Japan, for them to get 27 minutes, the longest match on this card, even longer than the eventual last match, this was truly the event. Like you said, this was single-handedly sold this place out before we knew about any other match on the card. So it was just pretty damn special, man. It was historic to me as someone who's only been watching New Japan since like 2016. I'm still a relatively new fan too, believe it or not, to some people. Like compared to someone who's been watching it forever, like since they were kids or since it was around in in the 70s. Like it's a lot of fans out there who probably would never thought they would see women in a main event spot going longer than the main event, going longer than the last match, and having that type of moment for a New Japan women's title. And then, to see the after effect of Mercedes winning and her, bringing the belt to red carpets now for the Mandalorian and giving New Japan worldwide exposure, man. It's just this is a legendary night, something that New Japan will never forget, and I don't think the wrestling world should forget, because it was just special stuff. So I definitely gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, and even the crossover appeal, not even look at the match, but Mercedes Moné bringing the title belt with her to the Mandalorian season 3 premiere, so people then turning onto that and going, second, she didn't have to do that. So it shows that she wants to this is the
Exactly.
thing, it's cementing the legacy.
This is what exactly. This is exactly what New Japan need. Like, Twitter is quite big for wrestling, for wrestlers, for their fans and everything like that. But having someone like Mercedes going to a red carpet event and then actually posting all about that on her Instagram, that reaches so many more followers. And even I was noticing so many people in a lot of her comments that were going, wait, what belt is that? Why has she got a belt? And asking and actually genuinely being interested, being like, what is she champion of? Not actually knowing she's a wrestler. So this is the perfect way to actually gain so much exposure, not just to the fact that she is not just an actress, but the fact that there is New Japan Wrestling out there. I really hope that this sort of content continues to build fans for New Japan, because even my sister and I have been sleeping on New Japan, and it's taken us until 2022 to really gain a greater appreciation for the sport and for the wrestling company. I just hope that great exposure continues and progresses.
Yeah, but even for me, I get that as well, because I'm looking here and I'm watching Kari versus Mercedes, and I'm saying, oh, I want both to face off in WWE. I can see them do that in a few years' time. But I think the reason why I say that is because you want it on a grander scale. I can picture, I'm always annoyed Kari never got that pirate ship at WrestleMania. And I can imagine her, coming in on that with Banks as well at an event. But again, this is what we can get for Japan. Look at Wrestle Kingdom this year and maybe build upon that, coming up next year and seeing like Kari versus Monet again in a huge arena we'll be able to sell out. And it's about cementing the legacies as well for both. It's why maybe not going to AEW or staying in WWE is the best idea because of what they can achieve now. Kari has won the Mae Young Classic, and we've seen what she's doing now. And the same thing with Mercedes Moné is creating a legacy.
You've seen it happen with Cody, go away from WWE, gain a bigger fan base, and then come back to WWE and just have all that respect. Imagine if you just had exactly that, like a WrestleMania, where the main event could be Kyrie versus Mercedes, and like the level of respect that they would have had from solidifying themselves in outside companies. So it's always great exposure, regardless to where you are. So it would be interesting to see, but after seeing Cody return, I'm never going to say never on the WWE door being closed,
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. And as a selfish point of view as well, I would love to see Monet or even Kari mixing it up with Impact. Deanna Pratt, Mickey James, Jordan Grace. That would be brilliant as well. But this was fantastic. Everything's on point. And people who say, and I still get emails every now and again, yeah, people say women can't wrestle as good as the guys. Just watch this, 5 out of 5 for me. Move on to the main event, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Kazuchika Okada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. The story here was Okada was basically taking Tanahashi lightly. He feels that he has far surpassed the legend, holds a winning record over him, so he came fully expecting to win. Tanahashi fought from beneath and made Okada take him seriously again. It's a good story to tell, especially at this stage in their career where Tanahashi is nearing the end and the top guy, and Okada's been on top for a decade now. I'll have to ask Monty. Tanahashi got some near falls, including a solid one after counting the Rainmaker into the inside cradle, but you never really got the sense he had a chance. Okada eventually beat him with the Rainmaker. Gina, what did you think of the main event for Battle in the Valley?
Yeah, it was definitely a great match. With Okada being in this match, it was just too hard to keep your eyes off of it. There was just so much going on, and again, I didn't really doubt Okada at all in the match. I knew that he would sort of have this one in the bag, but again, it still was best to. It was just one of those ones that kept you on the edge of your seat, and I don't think that even if I just continue watching New Japan, I'll end up becoming bored of it, because I just think Okada is just one of a kind. He's like the Rock of it in a way, So yeah, definitely a good match. Definitely worth it. Tanahashi, he definitely gives as good as he gets. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of his. There's just, I think it's his arrogant attitude I really don't like. So for me, every time he was winning, I was one of the stupid crowd members who was just going boo, like get lost, Tanahashi. But aside from that, it was a really good match, and I was super invested.
No, I said, what you score out of 5?
I'm going to give that one a 5 as well. I think it was a good match. The female match was better, but I'll still give this a 5 too.
Yeah, Monty, what do you make of that with Tanahashi and Okada? I mean, what did you think of the main event as well?
Oh yeah, well, the funny thing about what you just said about his attitude is, Tanahashi was called the god of pro wrestling, so you know that gives you a attitude if you think about it. Okada did dethrone him, for a good 10 years. I mean, 10 years ago, but honestly, Tanahashi won a lot of those matches too, so they really have an epic rivalry. These two, that formula rarely ever fails, honestly. But Okada, like you said, taking Tanahashi lightly is a newer concept because, like you said, Tanahashi is now closer to the end of his run at the top. So, he will never let go, though. You can't tell Tanahashi it. He's still the god of pro wrestling. He's still the man who single-handedly saved this company back throughout the 2000s and leading up into like 2012 when Okada beat him for the first time. But Tanahashi will never let that go. They will always put on good clashes around the world. This is New Japan. Like, this is pure New Japan pro wrestling. Like, what they're all about to its core is what Tanahashi and Okada represents. So I gave it 4.5 stars, man. I really liked it.
Jackson, what do you think of this?
Yeah, a really great match. Again, this was another moment for us to see kind of how a little more unhinged Okada was becoming. Like, as you could tell from this match with Tanahashi, it wasn't just about beating him. From what I was watching, Okada was making a statement. He was trying to put himself over and be like, "You're no longer number one now, Tanahashi. Like, this is my time now." Like, he came out there to make a statement to say, like, it's no longer about you. This is my reign. And I think that Okada really came across like that. Did I personally think the champion from Noah might turn up at the end of this match? I did. I kind of thought he might just turn up and be like, "Yeah, screw you, Okada. You want to come turn up at my thing? I'll turn up at your thing," But we didn't get that. That's all good. This match definitely went hard, and I think Okada definitely made a statement to be like, this is going to be a different reign for me. You guys are going to see a different side to me. I'm more aggressive. And I really like this side of Okada. I can't wait to see kind of what else happens with his reign and with his current run. I'm excited to see where things go from here. Overall, I gave the match like a 4 3/4. I thought it was really good, though.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5. After the match, Okada did the show closing promo and teased a tag title run with Tanahashi. However, before you could say goodbye, Mercedes Moné arrived. They posed together. Mercedes thanked the fans for they said they could be a dream team given and how they like to make it rain. And they posed to end the show. So looking back on the show as a whole, match of the night, I think all across the board is the women's match. MVP of the night. Gene, I'll start with you. Who's your MVP of the night for Battle in the Valley?
This is not surprising, but it's obviously Mercedes Moné. We knew she was turning up and because she had this match, but it was still just as awesome to see her come out. Yeah, definitely Mercedes.
Jaxie, what about you for MVP?
Yeah, definitely Mercedes for me too.
Monty?
Yeah, I agree. Just can't say enough about what a great job she did. And the fact that on social media, Battle in the Valley was trending for like 3 days, it seemed like, because of her appearance. So, like, she just has a lasting, like, star power effect. Like, it just felt like the entire world was watching that night.
Yeah, and rating out of 10, Monty, you start us off. What are you going to rate Battle in the Valley out of 10?
I think overall I give it about a 9. I think it ended up being a really strong show. Like this is Jay White's last match, so it's very memorable. You get the Mercedes debut, historic night. Like to me, like it was hard for me to give it anything lower than a 9, honestly. Even though it probably wasn't like a slam dunk every match type of card, but like the amount of history and the impact that really that Mercedes match had, and then like I said, you have the lasting impact of no more Jay White in New Japan. You had a great title match to finish off the show too, tacked on to that, and a strong card overall. So I gave it 9 out of 10.
Gina, what about you? What you score out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 9 as well. For me, that was just awesome. It was a show that I couldn't predict all of the outcomes for, and I did enjoy pretty much most of the matches. So I give it a 9.
And Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, this was a 9 from me too. Overall, really great. Every match, there was just an outstanding performance from each wrestler. Really, really enjoyed this Battle of the Valley.
Yeah, no, really, really good stuff. I think Capital Collision might be their next. That comes up in probably May, and I think that's definitely something that we will look at. A 9 for me. We move on February 21st. We're going to talk about Pro Wrestling Noah and New Japan presenting Keiji Muti's Grand Final Pro Wrestling Last Love Holdout Show at the Tokyo Dome. Wrestling legend Keiji Mutu, aka the Great Muta, wrestled the final match or matches of his career. In his scheduled main event, he faced Tetsuya Naito, who beat Mutu with the Destinino, and then after the match, Mutu challenged Masahiro Chono to an impromptu match, with Chono won in under 2 minutes with the STF. I mean, Monty, we've said goodbye to Mutu a few times, but this is it, isn't it?
Yeah, this is finally it. Like I said, no one does retirements like Japanese pro wrestling, man. It's so special. It doesn't like they want you to. They make memories. That Chono stuff was just a nice little bonus that no one asked for. No one probably thought it was gonna happen, but it was still a great name that I grew up with. Particularly in his NWO days, I was a big fan of Masahiro Chono back in the day with the shades. But yeah, man, seeing Muto work for about 30 minutes on his way out was just typical Keiji Muto. Like, he has no business probably trying to push it this long, but, it's about as good as a retirement match as you're going to get, honestly. It was special. Seeing my current favorite wrestler fight his favorite wrestler of all time was kind of just cool for me, because Naito really looked up to Muto. So, it was just very special night and a very special way to cap off that card, because like no one retires legends like pro wrestling in Japan. It's just always special. They give them these nice farewell tours, and everyone was there. A lot of people was there to pay their respects. A lot of people was on the internet paying their respects to Keiji Muto, because like you said, it's finally over. They're done. You can only say bye-bye so many times.
Yeah, excellent stuff, Lo. The rest of the card was full of Noah versus matches, with the semi-main event being the one we've all waiting for, the Global Honored Crown Heavyweight Champion Kaito Kiyomiya taking on IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada. This was basically Kazuchika killing him. We talked about him being a bit of a dick, but this was even worse in this matchup in itself, because we see Okada finally hitting the Rainmaker, but smirking, putting Kiyomiya up at 2. He then finished him off with the Emerald Frozen, the finisher move of Michio Masawa, Noah's founder, and Kiyomiya's wrestling idol. I mean, lesson learned here. I mean, Monty, this was pretty harsh, and Okada walked straight out afterwards. There was no sign of respect.
No sign of respect. They asked him, would he fight him again? And he just said no and just flew out, man. This was awesome, man. Like, it was so beautiful to see newer New Japan fans and people who may not be familiar with Okada really see that he can really be a dick and, like, seriously, like, In this entire feud, he disrespected Kaito. Even the initial brawl, you can say, as much as Kaito took it to the next level with kicking him, Okada dismissed him right before that and just ignored him like he didn't matter. And Kaito is a younger guy, younger champion. He's a babyface, and he really looked like a babyface. And this was like they were booing him when this stuff started because they thought he took it too far. But like Okada's actions all the way up leading to this disrespecting this kid and making Kaito like just have to earn his respect. It's just kind of crazy. Like I said, he's not the superhero that he looked like the last 6 years or so in New Japan in this situation. He dismissed Noah from the beginning and, like you said, disrespected Kaito as deeply as he could, like even from the moves he chose to do. So, again, the thing is about this is that the Noah and New Japan seem to be working together more and more as time has gone on. Like even as last year, they seem to be building a pretty good working relationship. So we could be seeing down the line, a few years from now, Kaito being more experienced, because this match is all about Okada saying, no, you're not on my level, kid. Like, I'm not even going to acknowledge you as someone on my level. New Japan is the best pro wrestler in the world, and I'm the best wrestler in the world. You can't touch this. And again, in a few years to come, it'd be really, really nice to see if Kaito could represent himself better in this spot against Okada. But again, this was really well executed to me. It, like you said, it came off as harsh because it was meant to be harsh. Like Okada dismisses any other promotion that thinks that they can stand up to New Japan, and that's him representing New Japan to the fullest. You finally got to see a lot of that cockiness, what really makes the Rainmaker who the Rainmaker is. Like he's proud, he's calm, he can be calm and collected, but that he's dangerous and he's very, very, he can be arrogant, very, very arrogant. And this is that side of him that you got to see against this young kid who he just dismissed, like he wasn't on his level.
Yeah, he was a dick. I mean, Jackson, I know you love Okada, but the young lad is kind of wants to be Okada in himself. Like I said, bleach blonde hair and whatever else it is. And then Okada treats him like, you can't still love Kazuchika like that.
I mean, that was it was very much Mean Girls, very Regina Mean Girls, like, you'll never be as good as me sort of thing. It was such a dick move from Okada. But hey, have I ever turned away an attraction for a bad boy? No, and I'm not going to start now. So let Okada do what he wants to do. He'll still be in my heart. So yeah, regardless as to what way, whether he's face or heel. Let's go. Bring it.
Well, that is it for New Japan. And I'm sure Monty will tell us the next kind of big events, and we'll have another New Japan catch-up. Maybe
New Japan Cup is coming. Starts tomorrow. New Japan Cup.
So
there you go. That's the big event.
We've got our next show. New Japan Cup.
Before we move on, Sensei, please explain the New Japan Cup to us newbies, please.
So it's not like the G1. It's more of a straight up elimination tournament. They already got the brackets that they put out. It starts on the 5th of March. So yeah, it's gonna be it's a very important tournament. It basically finds out who is next for Okada, basically. Whoever comes out the winner of the New Japan Cup, like Zack Sabre Jr. has won it a couple times. Go on the streak, you can win like 4 or 5 matches in a row, and there you go. You are the New Japan Cup winner. You could possibly challenge Okada.
Is it just straight up singles matches, or are we going to get
singles? Just singles. Yeah, just singles. And mostly heavyweight division.
How do you qualify to get in, like be entered into that?
Well, they usually just select. Like, they announce the bracket. They just select guys for the most part.
Oh, okay, so like, if I look online tonight, I can see the brackets already.
Yes, I can send the brackets to you right now. Or I'm not gonna. I don't want to read it all off because I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, they
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. That is it from New Japan. New Japan Cup. As just exclusively broke on the WNR podcast. So we're going to move on to AEW because, of course, we've got Revolution happening. We're going to give predictions, but quickly we'll run through what happened on Dynamite. The go home March 1st. Orange Cassidy faced the biggest challenge of his reign as AEW All-Out Champion in Big Bill. What a horrible fucking name. But again, Big Bill Gina, I don't know, like me, I was looking at him going, that guy's pretty put together. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got a butter face. But then again, you know, like he's pretty strong. Put up a good fight and OC managed to get the job done. I mean, is there a future for Big Bill, do you reckon, Gina? And Orange Cassidy's reign as All-Out Champion has been great.
Oh, gosh, I really wish you didn't ask me this question. Look, I think we all know that I'm probably one of the bigger AEW fans, but I'm really not feeling it. I really am not. Big Bill should be treated like on a higher caliber. He should be having matches with people like Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe. Instead, because he's stuck with Stokely Hathaway and the group of rejects, it's kind of like, I don't know. For me, Big Bill should have been winning that match, not because he's deserving of the title. So to be honest, they shouldn't have had this match in the first place. They should have put somebody else. Like, what's the little one that's in Stokely's group? The little black one. What's his name?
Moriarty.
That's it, Lee Moriarty. Sorry, I didn't mean to refer to him that way. That was the best way to describe it. They should have had him Orange Cassidy. If they wanted Orange Cassidy retaining on a realistic level, they should have just had him fighting him. Because for me, Big Bill should be on a higher caliber. There should have been no way that Orange Cassidy can beat him. Sorry, you need to make it more realistic. In a realistic world, if Orange Cassidy pissed Big Bill off in a bar and Big Bill had had too many beers, he would have knocked Orange Cassidy the fuck out. So for me, I was watching this match like, I just can't get into it. So it's just really frustrating because I am such a big fan of AEW, but some of the storylines they're doing right now is just really, really pissing me off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lee Moriarty. I really am.
He's crying in his soup at the moment listening to this show, but
I like you more than Zack Sabre Jr. I promise.
Poor Zack. Stop taking shots at Zack. Just leave him alone, man, you know. We see a bloody John Moxley cut a pre-recorded promo on Hangman Adam Page. And don't get me wrong, it's a cool visual, but who's that fucker cleaning up those stairs? You know, have a little respect, Mox. Right, there's some cunt are going to have to be paid like $3 an hour, whatever it is, to go put a mop through that. And you know blood doesn't come out of mops. The House of Black attacked the Elite during their entrance to God knows whatever reason, but they sent a clear message to the Trios champ ahead of Evolution. We had wild and chaotic spots for the name of the game and the face of a Revolution ladder match featuring huge stars like Powerhouse Hobbs and Eddie Kingston and Takeshita, Action Andretti, Sammy Guevara, Fox, and Commander. Yeah, me neither. But we did see awe-inspiring athleticism. I mean, I'm sure a few people thought it was Rey Fenix, but it was Commander who ran across the ropes. Austin and Ortiz in the most pointless feud. I don't even know why they're feuding. I know that like the House of Black had a problem with them, but whatever. They went away. Daniel Garcia nearly helped Sammy score a win, but it was Hobbs who earned the giant Sonic ring and future shot at the TNT Championship. Jaxie, Hobbs, just they need to make the right decision here. And my only issue is that the title match is Dynamite next week, which means he probably won't fucking win it.
Yeah, exactly. I was as soon as this match started taking place, I was like, okay, the whole reason why I thought you were having this this qualifier match now was so that whoever was the winner was going to be going on to Revolution. You know, obviously that doesn't make much sense when you've got Wardlow and Samoa Joe. But I'm like, well, why do this then? Like, it just feels really out of place to have that sort of thing be like, well, whoever the winner is going to take on Will Hobbs. If, in my personal opinion, if you were going to have Will Hobbs win this, I'd have just merged him into the triple threat and made it a triple threat. This is originally, this is kind of going back like 3 months. We're going exactly back around to where we were in the first place. It originated as like a triple feud happening. So why have Will Hobbs on the waiting line? Especially when Wardlow decided to come out after Hobbs had won. You should have just had hell break loose right there and then, and Tony just be like, do you know what, F it, this could be a triple threat, because these three don't seem to want to stop beating upon each other. It makes no sense to be having Will wait until after Revolution to face the winner. It makes no sense.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Wardlow beat up some security. Some things never change. Like you talk about, this feud, the Wardlow feud is like 3 months ago, and they've got a year. Now, remember when people were beating up security? Pretty Peter Avalon, who came up short against Fred Rosser, came up short against Chris Jericho, this time eating a code breaker. He threatened to beat down Avalon, which sent out Ricky Starks, because we all know Ricky Starks does like Pretty Peter Avalon. That's the reason why. But it was a trap. Sorry, hang on a minute. It's a trap! And all of a sudden, the Jericho Appreciation Society left him lying, sending one last message, Revolution. Gina, what did Ricky Starks do that for? Surely he should know, don't call me Shirley, what would have happened to him?
Oh, God.
Why is
My
your man
love-hate
such a fucking
relationship
idiot?
with my man, my love-hate relationship with my man is still ongoing right now. And I don't understand why Ricky Starks keeps trying to save all these weak men. Oh my God, Ricky, like, seriously, you put yourself on a higher pedestal. I feel so rude saying that. But Peter Avalon, Action Andretti, no one heard of Action Andretti before, and Peter Avalon was the star of Dark.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, do you not have higher up pals in this company, Ricky, that you could get to come out and save your ass? Because you know for a fact, week after week, you go against all of the JAS members, and no one's coming out to have your back apart from Nomads. Like, It's just disappointing, really. And I think Ricky needs to start being nicer to people backstage. He needs to bring them more pumpkin spice lattes. Say, hey, Blackpool Combat Club. Hey, House of Black, how you doing?
Hey,
I need
Claudio.
friends. Yeah, I need some friends. Help me out, yeah? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. No one scratches Ricky's back but me. But you know what I'm saying. So it's frustrating to see. It really is.
Yeah. Well, another frustrating feud that's never ending. Christian Cage cut a promo with Rene Paquette in the way he denounced Jungle Boy as a champion, claimed he still sees wrestling as a business, and challenged his former protege to a fight at Revolution. Perry answered with a video package, and I think he said, Christian, rest in peace, or something like that. I saw the graves, and I just thought, oh, okay, Jungle Boy's the new Undertaker. Hook beat Matt Hardy. Rio beat Tony Storm with a distraction. Ruby Soho made her presence felt ahead of the three-way match against Hayter and Sarai, a brawl between all involved with security involvement. We got the fourth team in the AEW World Tag Team Championship match at Revolution in the Casino Battle Royale, because nothing like two Battle Royales with the same spot in a match with some of the same teams as well. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen stepped in late for the injured Best Friends and got the win here. Monty, what the fuck happened to the tag division? I'm sure it was the best tag division in the world. And I tipped my eye if it come back, and apparently we've got Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, and the fucking Guns as like three of the best tag teams. What's happened?
The sad thing about it is, like, the Battle Royals almost teased better options than what we ended up getting in both situations. Like, you had Top Flight, you had all these other more impressive teams that probably would be able to shine in this spot on a pay-per-view card. They were all flaunted right in front of your face just so we could get Danhausen and Orange Cassidy and Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Like, what the hell? That you could, like, you're right, James. The tag division itself is different, but like those choices are like, come on, man.
Monty, answer me this. Even the week before, when we got the Jay and Jeff Jarrett winning that battle royal,
Triple J,
what the F? You had so many so many top prospective teams in that match. You had Top Flight.
Right.
You had you.
What the hell
I-
the best friends did to Tony? Why did he choose Orange Cassidy, who's already a champion, and Danhausen instead of an actual tag team in the best friends group? Like, like what the hell?
Right?
It's random, man. It just felt so random.
He's really
And you're right. You have Ozzy
hype
Open
it.
in there. You got Ozzy Open in there just there
Yeah,
so they can get eliminated. It's so many better teams. I'll take Butcher and
they
Blade
really were.
over some of these teams.
Honestly.
But
And they got a great record in Battle Royals, though, Butcher and Blade.
Right.
We've been told that.
So they say.
At least it would make sense. Like, try and make Danhausen and Orange Cassidy make sense. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. And I know you just only briefly touched on this, James, but I am going to circle back around to this. TK, have you got an issue here? What the F? Why have we only got this triple threat women's match happening on AEW Revolution? Why is there only one women's match?
Yeah,
Where's
no
Jade?
TBS title.
Why is she not? Yeah, exactly. Where's her opponent? Why are you doing fuck all with her? Also, I'm sorry, but Dynamite was a mess. Like, even just having this sort of commotion between Jamie Hayter and Saraya go off at the end of the match, that was like kind of slow paced and really like randomly placed. It kind of just felt like people were waiting there. Ruby Soho comes out. I don't know for what reason, apart from the fact that she's just been edged into this match to take the pin. Like, it kind of just looks messy being put together. And also, just to quickly, now that it's back on my mind, I just really want to circle back to the first tag team battle royal match. Gosh, that was a mess. Claudio was waiting there for ages for everyone to remember their spots. He let Wheeler Yuta get eliminated and just like was waiting there to get eliminated himself. I was like, wake up. Seriously. Like, if anything, these two should have just won that battle royal and gone on it to the match at Revolution. This fatal 4-way tag team Revolution match is a mess. Well, I don't understand why any of these teams, apart from the Acclaimed, are in it. I really don't.
5 weeks of Dynamite has been a mess, and it's kind of like it's been relegated now from main TV to tablet to me, because I'm not going to waste my TV time on Dynamite. I'd rather play Hogwarts Legacy and have it on as some sort of background because
you are me and my sister have been doing the exact same thing. Like, AEW has been relegated to the laptop now so that I watch it whilst I've been playing my Hogwarts. That's how unimpressed I have been with the build up to AEW Revolution. Like, don't get me wrong, James, I've been a strong advocate for AEW, but over the last month and a half, it has been such a hot mess that it's very hard to find yourself invested in any of the current feuds going on.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Well, Bryan Danielson had something to say, and like we said, the only match that they've really built towards on Revolution is, of course, a 60-minute Iron Man match. Bryan said that he hates me because people call me the best wrestler in the world, and as the AEW champion, he thinks he deserves that. The one thing you deserve is your fiance leaving you. Oh, snap. Pinning shoulders to mats and banging rats. Is that what you do, Max?
I literally, as soon as he said that line about the fiance leaving him, I literally shot up and was like, wait, let me go onto Google really quick. I need to, see if this is true. I type in MJF and straight away the first hint that comes up is MJF girlfriend. Oh no! And it's astonishing at how much AEW wrestlers are willing to bring in their personal lives into this, because that type of thing I'd have kept quiet. I would not be wanting to air out that my fiance left me. Fair play to MJF for allowing them to use that sort of shit.
Well, the thing is, MJF, if the story had been like he dumped her a day before the wedding because she was pregnant, that makes a better hill. That's a better hill than actually kind of what happened. But even Danielson doesn't want doesn't want the daughter to marry him. And then he did finish with said, "You better be ready to fight with everything you have for 64 minutes, because if you don't, you're going to get your fucking head kicked in." All he said a rude word. For once, MJF said nothing. Instead, stood in disbelief. as we head there. And then finally, March. I mean, if Dynamite's been bad, my God, Rampage. March 3rd, Rampage.
I mean, have you still been watching it?
Yeah, but I didn't have a fucking clue what was going. Because it's like, why get a better match? The Blackpool Combat Club with Claudio and Yuta beating Aussie Open, Dark Order, and Top Flight. Why give us that on Rampage and then give us that tag match at fucking Revolution? I just didn't understand. I was like,
Exactly.
yeah, this is a
That
much better
match
match.
That match sounds lit. How the hell are we getting that relegated to Rampage? What the F?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Riho beat Emi Sakura. Powerhouse Hobbs beats Serpentico in like a minute. And then the main event was a tag match with Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee, who are now a tag team, taking on Swerve and Parker Boudreaux, because we cannot wait for another couple of months till we finally get the Keith Lee Swerve match. What the fuck is going on? Please.
How does that make any sense?
I don't know. They're called like Limitless. Keith Lee scored a win by pinning Boudreaux. It ain't ending between the two teams. And I don't know if Keith Lee's look. I mean, I've been talking about a lot of wrestlers, but Gina, maybe you can help me out. Like, is Gray like the direction to go to now? Why has he made himself look older? Like, this is what I don't understand.
I don't understand, because
He just stopped
surely I
dying,
would have
man.
thought.
I want to look like an old school
just
teacher.
would have thought, surely in this business, wrestlers want to stay as relevant as they can. You know, like Randy Orton wanted to be as relevant as he can, even though he's getting on. He's still trying to stay as relevant as he can. If he came out with a head full of white hair like Eric Bischoff, like no one's gonna look at him and be like, oh yeah, he's got another at least 2 championship runs in him or behind him. Keith Lee coming out looking like your granddad, just, I don't know what he's thinking. And I get it, it's not all about looks, that's not what I'm trying to say, but like when I see Keith Lee like that, I think, okay, so he is on Dustin Rhodes level, so he should just be having, you know, the retirement matches with Jeff Jarrett, Dustin Rhodes. You don't expect him to then be going against MJF, because I'm like,
Keith Lee versus
can he
Sting.
keep up?
Sting!
Yeah, Sting. That would be good. I don't know. It's, for me, I think I think he shouldn't keep the greatness. I think he should go back.
It makes him look older than he naturally is. And for someone who's just married, Mia Yim, I don't know. I just thought you would maybe like.
Mia Yim's disappointed.
I'm not judging him from like anything remotely bad. What I do think is that it's not very, like, he looks older than what he actually is, and I don't necessarily think that that's a good look for him. You know.
No, this is the thing. It's just.
We get the remind me, guys, which look was this? Was this when he was in NXT? When I'm thinking of this, when he had the goatee, the pure black goatee, was that NXT?
Yes, I'm telling you,
Yes.
he was dyeing his hair back.
Oh, you know, there's no doubt.
He just said,
go bald.
Yeah, he said he done it, I
Just
guess.
go bald.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He could just cut it low, like, yeah, exactly.
He,
But I don't
he
know,
would be
man.
taken seriously. Like,
I don't
you
think
know,
he want to be bald. Like, he has to have a fear that he looks worse completely bald. I don't know.
I mean,
He's
that
just
could be the case, you know. And each to their own. I just think if you're going to go one way, like, and really make a statement, you coming back after Swerve took you out looking like, you know, you've grown a decade is not the best way to make a comeback. Like, I wish he would have just like got, you know, grown the goatee back, because he had enough time off to grow the goatee back. You know, dye his hair like kind of brown again, and just go back to that NXT look, because he came across looking like a beast. Like, I'm still not going to forgive the fact that we were teased Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar, and I would have taken that shit seriously. Right now, with what Keith Lee's doing in the AEW, I can't take that shit seriously.
No,
So it's like,
there is a
We're
couple of solutions. You can grow your
What's that?
beard, grow his beard, and then switch his head the other way round. You see, that could work. Or it's like the issue is, it's like, how long ago did Swerve take out Keith Lee? Was it like 25 years ago? And then Lee's finally
like-
going back. Like, how long, bloody hell?
can we just get past this now? Like, I don't really want to visit this next month. Like, I want it to be over. I just don't know what direction they're going with Swerve. And even if they wanted to go down this heel route, I really I don't like his two little like
the weirdos, just two of the weirdest
He was
tattooed
better off
lesbian
alone.
couple going. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah, he was better off alone.
Monty
Or at
is the
least
most
just getting a manager or something. He didn't need
Yeah, but it's even
to
like
make a
that.
faction.
Not to go off on one, but like, what the fuck happened to Stokely Hathaway? Like, is he getting a new gimmick every week? He's like a militant guy now with his fucking thing. Last week he was like a dude with a suit. Like, make up your mind. Like, whatever you want to do. Just
I mean, ever since Jay, dropped his ass, it's like he's having an identity crisis. It's just unreal.
Yeah, the more we talk about it, the more this show don't make a lot of sense.
No, we're going to move on. We've got to do predictions. Predictions. So we'll move on. So we had the countdown to Revolution as well. It was the same stuff, and it made the build seem better for pay-per-view. So don't watch 4 weeks of Dynamite. Just watch the countdown to Revolution, I would say to everybody at home. So, predictions. We've got 9 matches at this moment in time, which is still too many when one of them is going to go a fucking hour. But we will run through them. Gene, I know you're playing by ear, so to speak, and the AEW Prediction League will be up and running as well. At the moment, it is 1-1 with WWE Prediction League, and I haven't got the bonus league in front of me, but I think I'm a couple of points ahead. So we're going to start off with 0 Hour, which, a match has been announced. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers versus Daivari and the Varsity Athletes. Pretty easy start. Gene, I'll start with you. Which we're going to go?
I've just put the Lucha Brothers and Mark Briscoe to win. I don't see them losing. They're a lot bigger than the other team, Daivari and the other guys. So I see them winning it. Plus, with Mark Briscoe being in the team and with everything that's happened recently, he needs to take his anger out on people. So he's going to beat these guys down.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. Jaxie?
Firstly, can I just start off by saying, how the F you gonna actually have the Lucha Brothers on fucking 0 Hour and not in this goddamn Fatal 4-Way? Like, it's beyond me. Like,
exactly.
slap yourself in the face for that, Tony. What the hell, man? Like, seriously, this creative booking is so questionable. But, of course, I'm going with Lucha Brothers and Mark Briscoe to win this.
Yeah. Monty? This should all be quite easy predictions, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. But, like you said, there's no way Mark Briscoe's and the Lucha Bros are going to lose to the Varsity Athletes and Daivari. And I think we all know that. It's not like that's the thing about it. Like, that's the thing about this decision. It's not even the fact that they're not even in the match. They're not even doing anything else important. Like, at least with the Young Bucks, the Young Bucks got stuff. That trios champion, they got things going on. But why do you have a great team like the Lucha Bros outside of the tag title picture? It's just it's too many better options that we can bring up, and I don't know, but yeah, it's no way they're losing. Like you said, Mark Briscoe. I will say that they've done a great job with the work that they've been giving Mark Briscoe since him making his return. So that's one bright spot. But other than that, yeah, man, we know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah. Up next, No Holds Barred, Christian versus Jungle Boy. Jaxie, which way is it going to go?
Look, if Jungle Boy didn't come out the winner on this and end this goddamn fucking feud, I swear to God, I am going to write to TK. Like, just give Jack Perry the win now, get him to move on. I'm done. I'm over this feud, man.
Yeah. Monty?
I couldn't have said it better myself, man. That's just perfect. Yeah, Jungle Boy has to win. We has to get this over with. I could have swore the last time I predicted a card with you guys for AEW, this match was on there in some way, shape, or form. It was him and Jungle. It was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus because of this feud. Like, this feud has been going on forever. It's time to put it to rest. No holds barred, I guess. I guess we'll see what that turns into. Just please win, Jungle Boy, please.
Yeah, I'll go Jungle Boy. Gina, you're going Jungle Boy as well, I assume.
Yes, get this feud over with, please. I'm over it. I was over it when Christian first got injured. I was done. We didn't need it. You should have just had Christian come back and do a feud with Matt Hardy and Dustin Rhodes. That's what level you're on, Christian, and that's how much I really don't care about you anymore. It's not that it's not that I've got anything personal against you, but you don't have like an Edge type feel in AEW because, to be honest, no one knows you unless they're WWE fans as well. And I'm over it. I'm over this feud. So be done. Jungle Boy's winning this, and then put Christian in a nice little early retirement, please. Thank you. Goodbye.
Well, you say that, and I've got a feeling we haven't seen Luchasaurus in a while, have we? So maybe he comes. No, it's got to be Jungle Boy, without doubt. Right, moving on. Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. JAS is banned from ringside. Monty, come on, as well, isn't it?
We probably can say the same thing about a lot of these feuds when it comes to like how long they've been going on. Ricky Starks should have got the certified clean victory or whatever with no problems a long time ago. It should have been over a while ago. So I think this should be the end. Ricky Starks has to win, or this whole entire thing was just another ego stroke for Jericho. Again, that's unnecessary in my opinion. I've been saying for a while that he does not have to keep winning in these situations. So I think Ricky Starks is going to get this victory, and hopefully he'll be on to finally challenging for a belt again.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Gina, what about you?
I've obviously gone Ricky, but to be honest, slightly similar feelings to how I feel about Jungle Boy and Christian's match. I'm over this feud now. They need to end it. It's exhausting. So yeah, just end it with Ricky winning, getting a clean win, Jericho crying, and move on to next storylines for them both, please.
Yeah, and Jaxie.
Exactly what Monty and Gina said. Of course, I've gone Ricky Starks. Let's just get this over with and start something fresh. We need a fresh start across the board on AEW. So that's the only way this can go, really.
Well, we've got the tag titles up next. The Acclaimed versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Dan Howard and Orange Cassidy versus the Guns. I'll go here. I really want the Acclaimed to win, but I don't think the Guns have actually defended the tag titles. So they have to defend the tag titles at some point. And what better way in a 4-way where the Acclaimed don't have to get pinned? You can get rid of Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, which is a shame. I want the Acclaimed to win and move on to better tag teams. But the Guns are going to retain here in my mind. Jaxie, what about you?
No, they should have never put it on the Gun Club in the first place. Give it back to the Acclaimed, please. Done.
The Acclaimed. Gina?
Just as my sister said, and you guys all said earlier, I don't understand why the fuck the people in this match are in this match. I don't understand why they did that to the best friends. You've literally just done the best friends dirty, and they've been with you from day dot, and you're just like, oh, they're injured. Fuck off, are they injured? You've just pushed them out and said, sorry, Orange Cassidy's bigger than you, even though he's got the All-Atlantic belt, and we really want Danhausen kept around. For God knows why. God knows why. So no, I'm sorry. I'm not into that. I'm also not into the pity of, yes, I'm really sorry for your loss, Jeff Jarrett, but they're like, you screwed your dad. Let's put you into this match at Revolution. I'm not feeling it. I really am not. They've not done enough to earn that spot, if you ask me, especially over people like the Lucha Brothers and many other tag teams in this division. So no, I'm just over it. Put it back on the Acclaimed. Done.
Monty?
Yeah, do you remember how WWE used Jeff Jarrett last? He was like a special guest referee, right? He just pop up every now and then. Like, why are we really getting a full-fledged Jeff Jarrett run in AEW? I thought he would pop up every now and then and do a match kind of like Sting, but this has kind of been more consistent than I was expecting. But again, the thing is, like you said, James, it's hard for me to see the Gun Club not winning this because even if as much as I would agree, I would love the Acclaim to get it back so we can just reverse and just go back to when things were a little bit better in the tag division. They had to have done this gun club thing for a reason, right? So I'm just thinking that, it'll be even more pointless than it felt when they won it if they decided to not let the gun club at least defend it, like you mentioned, James. So unfortunately, I think the gun club will win.
Yeah, that's what I was suspecting. And that match I'm not sure about. I think out of all of them is a Texas Death Match. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page. But I'm going to give Gina the chance to go first. Who's winning this one? Because this is one, it could go either way and actually make a bit of sense.
This one is a tricky one because, again, they've had a few matches now, and I think, what is it? Is it Mox that 3-2 to Hangman? Something like that?
Yeah,
that. I don't really remember the stats. So you would kind of expect, I mean, I've gone with Hangman for the win for this one. I don't particularly know why, because, again, I'm quite, this is one match that I don't feel like I can call, because there has been so many. But again, this match, their feuds has kept us interested because we see them both every week. Not like Christian, who has been off for months on end, where people have forgotten that storyline. So to bring it back up again is like, oh, okay. And yes, okay, with Ricky Stark's feud being shown every week, to be honest, they do the same thing with Jericho. Whenever he's having a feud with someone, they make him feud with them for weeks on end, make them fight every JAS member, so it's a repeated cycle. But with Mox and Hangman, because they're both so good individually with their promos as well, they've made their feud feel like it could be ongoing for the next 5 years or 10 years, so I think that's why this match is more anticipated than the other matches that have been ongoing this time. So yeah, for me, I've gone with Hangman, but I'm not actually too sure who's going to come out the winner on this, because they could go with Mox and just have Mox continuously wind up Hangman, because he's always like, he takes one step forward to then move 5 steps back, and I can just see it continuously like building on Hangman to the point that he does just lose his shit one day maybe, and he's like, oh, fuck Dark Order, fuck everyone in this company, I'm fucking everyone up. Whenever there's a no match, he comes out and takes his anger out on them. It could turn into something like that. But we also know that the Blackpool Combat Club have definitely turned heel lately, especially with Claudio and Yuta. They have definitely turned heel. And we know that Mox is always a great heel. So he could lose this match here, and then him go on a flipping rampage with his 2 boys backing him, and then become the next bloodline and just ripping through everyone, They could also then go for the triple tag titles. So it's, either way, that either outcome of this match, I think the storylines for both men are just still going to be pushed and continued.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Jaxie, what about you?
Let Jon Moxley have a freaking holiday already. Let him go on holiday. He still hasn't had that goddamn break. Let him go and actually have a holiday with his wife and daughter, okay? I've got Hangman winning this. I think that, even though I agree with you guys that this feud between these two could go on for ages, and I would still be entertained. At the same time, I just feel like Hangman needs to move on to something more significant if he's really going to place himself in the and get taken seriously in another running for the title at some point. John also just needs a break. Give him a break. So I see him like maybe taking an L here and going off for a bit, and I wouldn't mind that.
Well, this is the thing. Moxley's had 100 victories, and he has been multiple-time world champion. Page hasn't won shit since he lost that title. So at least this feels like the first feud since he lost the title that actually might mean something,
You got to make him significant again, and this is a way to do it. Like, Mox has been consistently making his presence known on AEW TV, for the past 2.5, almost 3 years. Hangman has done the same with when he's been in the company, but he has had a lot more injury. So right now, it feels right to have someone like Mox, who's been so over for so long, be put down by the likes of Hangman, actually focus on giving Hangman something significant to do, and let Mox actually go off and have a break. rest himself before he ends up on the injured list too.
Yeah, I think without doubt. Monty, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going with Hangman too for a lot of the similar reason that you guys are going for him, and it just makes the most sense to put a bow on this story that they've told. Like you said, the in-ring work has been fantastic, and the storytelling outside of the ring has been pretty good to me too. It's pretty straightforward. It makes sense to me. Moxley always brings a great energy to these matches. So again, when it comes to AEW, I always expect the talent to go out there and you know have great matches because they're very talented rosters. It's just sometimes the decisions around what they're doing or the way they're being presented that make stuff drag along and make things feel a certain type of way. But I think this has still been one of the highlights, right underneath what Brian and MJF has been doing with their story. So I think, like you guys said, it'd be great either way. But Moxley losing makes the most sense to me because, like you said, Hangman needs a big victory. And it'll be nice to see how far away is he from getting a shot at MJF or Danielson down the line if he wins a big match like this against Moxley and get this feud over with.
Yeah, I think without doubt. Next match, women's title on the line. Saray versus Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter. Jaxie, start of you. Which way is this going?
I see Jamie winning this. So Ruby's going to take the pin. Jamie's going to win this.
Fair enough. Nice and quick. Monty, what about you?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. As much as I would like to see Ruby walk away in a situation like this, the timing doesn't seem right, and I just feel like she's here to take the pin in this situation. Saraya is crazy to me how she can go from like one of the most beloved to just how hated she seems to be. And it's just funny how fast it feels like it happened. But, we'll see how it goes. That would be a really controversial decision if he goes with Saraya. But it's definitely can still be a possibility. You never know. But I feel like it'll be a crime to let Jamie Hayter lose this without even exploring the Britt Baker option at least once or twice and letting them just be supportive of each other. It's been great to see them stick together, but it'd still be nice to see them feud at some point. So, and I would love that to be over the belt. So I think Jamie Hayter should continue her reign, and we'll see what happened with this Saraya feud long term.
Yeah, Gina, what about you?
I've got Jamie to win this. I don't see her losing it. I feel sorry for Ruby because I feel like she deserves more respect, but we all know she's been put in here just so that she can take the pin. I do feel sorry for Ruby. I feel like she needs more respect. And to be honest, I'm hoping that she maybe comes out of this and decides, do you know what, fuck it, I'm going to choose a side between, Saraya and Tony and Britt and Jamie. The thing is, it makes more sense that she joined Saraya and Tony, and they kind of do, sort of the new wrestlers versus the OG AEW wrestlers, and you have Shida join Jamie and Britt, and then you kind of, because that feud I would be happy with continuing on from here. I think if they just push Ruby back under the carpet, sweep her under the carpet again after this, it's pretty much just going to kill off any momentum she's tried to build for herself in the company. I mean, she's going to turn into an Athena. Really sorry, Athena, but where are you? So, yeah, Jamie to win it, though.
She's the Ring of Honor Women's Champion at the moment. Not that anybody cares. Trios title on the line. House of Black, the Elite. Monty, which way is this going?
This is another one of the matches that I can see definitely going either way. It's hard to ever bet against the Elite, but the randomness of this match, the way it was like very limited on a reason for it, other than the fact that we just know it'll be awesome. Like I said, they're gonna kill it because we know what these six are capable of and all that. We know how great it can possibly be in our minds. So hopefully it can live up to those expectations. But I have to go with the House of Black, man. I think you bring them back, they can just immediately win the titles. I know it seems kind of soon in the Elite's run to possibly lose it, but honestly, I don't know. I just feel like you gain a little bit more if you build something because the House of Black lose and they just go back down to doing what? Like again, just popping up randomly in feuds again. Like I don't know. That's probably likely going to happen because again, this is the Elite. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind it if the Elite passed it over, and maybe they still continue this feud over the belts either way. But I'm going with House of Black here, just on their fresh debut to give them a big moment.
Yeah, I think without a shadow of a doubt. I was just thinking if Powerhouse Hobbs actually joined House of Black, they can call the group Hobbs. Makes sense. Anyway, I might ramble on a little bit. I'm going to go House of Black as well. Gina, what about you?
Okay, so I have gone the opposite. I've gone the Elite to win it, and that's only because I feel like they still only just got the belt, so it's too soon to lose them. However, I won't be mad if House of Black win it. I don't know if I would have wanted this match so soon. I feel like maybe the Elite should have had a longer run because I do feel like the House of Black should win this match. I don't think that they should lose at all because House of Black need to be pushed. So I've gone with the Elite, but I want the House of Black to win, so I won't be mad at losing this one.
Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, I think that I've gone with the House of Black. I think why are you going to bring them back and actually, be having all these promos set and stuff, and then just literally you've done this with them before. Like they had so much momentum, and you dropped the ball with that straight away. I feel like you're actually going to do the same if you don't have them come out on top and win this. So I've gone the House of Black again. Yeah. I also think that there could be potential clashes coming up with Kenny, maybe because of obviously New Japan need to really focus on building up an opponent for IWGP. So there's potential that Kenny needs to be away for a bit. So what better way than to put the belts on the likes of the House of Black?
Yeah, there's got to be time. They don't do it now with House of Black. It's just, that's they get them to win the title. Penultimate match, TNT Championship. Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. Again, a feud that's been going on a bit too long. It's Wardlow's time to shut Joe's mouth and walk away as TNT champion. Monty, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, man. This is the end. I think Wardlow should just go ahead and take the belt back because honestly, I feel like it's just pointless if it goes the other way. If Samoa Joe wins, as much as I love what he's been doing as a champion in AEW, and for his promo work and even some of his matches on this run have been great, especially because I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. But I think it'd just be pointless. He's just beating Wardlow down for no reason at this point. If he come back, lose this match again, we've seen this already in that retrospect. And then you're gonna have Hobbs and Joe tomorrow. I mean, not much tomorrow, but on Dynamite. So you're gonna have, that match. I think it'd be more likely we get Wardlow and Hobbs on Dynamite since he decided to book it that way. So yeah, I think Wardlow is gonna get his belt back. But would I be shocked if he goes back with Joe? Because I bet against Joe the last few times, and Joe won. So yes, it could definitely still go left on me. But I'm going with Wardlow here.
Yeah. Gina, what about you?
I really don't know. I've gone with Wardlow. Again, this has been a bit exhausting for me. It seems to be back and forth between three certain wrestlers, Wardlow, Samoa, and Darby. It was fun in the beginning, but I'm starting to get bored. So I feel sad to say this because I do like Wardlow and I do like Samoa Joe. But if you have to ask me which match I'm maybe looking forward to the least, it'll be Jungle Boy first, that match, because I'm over Christian Cage. But this one would be quite close. And again, it's not to kind of cuss out the wrestlers, but I'm just over this three-way back and forth that this belt seems to be having. It seems to just be making its rounds in this triangle, and I'm over the triangle. So yeah. I've gone with Wardlow.
Darby instead of Will Hobbs. That was so weird.
That's what I mean. You had Will Hobbs involved in this. Why is he not versus Wardlow in this at this pay-per-view because sorry, Samoa Joe in this pay-per-view. I just don't get it. You had Wardlow go off after his haircut, but you could have brought Will Hobbs on then if you wanted to try and continue this triangle. But instead we've just gone back to Wardlow, and it's just made me less interested in the storyline. I don't know why. And again, it's not because I don't like any of the wrestlers. I do. I'm just over it.
And Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, it's a weird one because I think that if you actually have Samoa Joe retain, then Will Hobbs is taking the win on Dynamite and taking that belt off of Joe. But again, I also am under the impression that I felt like this should have been a triple threat. As much as I'd like to see Hobbs end up winning the belt on Dynamite, I agree with Monty. I think that this is gonna be Wardlow versus Hobbs on Dynamite, and Wardlow will retain. So I'm going with Wardlow to win over Joe.
Yep. And then the final match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, 60-minute Iron Man match. Can MJF prove that he can hang with Bryan Danielson? Or will Danielson walk away as the new AEW champion? Gina, you can do the last prediction. Which way is this going to go?
I've got MJF to win it. He's not had a long enough cunt run with that belt. So I do see it as Bryan Danielson, helping to elevate MJF as just like a more formidable villain in AEW, sorry. So for me, I do see MJF winning this over Bryan. I think he's going to give a wicked match, but yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I agree. Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with MJF on this one to win. I see this being a really close call, but yeah, we're definitely going to have MJF just using some sort of dick move to pick up the win here. This is how we solidify like a dick move run for MJF that's going to actually be significant. If they didn't retain here, he really would be taken for a joke, and I really do see him leaving AEW shortly after that. So I don't see him losing at all. I see him staying champion for a bit longer.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I think this proves MJF can show the world or the people watching that he can hang for an hour. And I think the arm going into it, if MJF walks away with not a cleanest, but if he wins, 5-4 overall, with the submission victory to end, I think that's going to, show MJF as a wrestler. Unless, like you said, they carry on him being a cunt. Monty, what about you? I don't think the question is MJF, if he's going to win or not. It's how he's going to win, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it would this so far the story has been so just about, it's getting more and more personal. So I probably can see it going pretty brutal there towards the end, maybe with the Dynamite ring, maybe with some other tactic, maybe not. Maybe he out wrestles him the first part of him, but like you said, it's tied at the end, and then that's when MJF pulls out a trick or gets the ref knocked down or pulls something out of the hat. I can see it going a couple of ways, but it's hard for me to see MJF doing it clean. But you're right. If he can make Bryan Danielson submit in just like a pure clean and like out wrestle him, and do that, it's just like it'll be freaking bonkers. But like you said, this match is all about proving what MJF can do when it comes to Danielson for an hour. So yeah, I think this gonna be a good match, but I think MJF has to retain.
I think with a shadow of a doubt. And I think that's about it. I mean, we've been going for like 3 hours now, but we've done the New Japan and, of course, the AEW predictions. Is everybody happy? I mean, Gina, you're happy with predictions, aren't you? Yes, see?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with them. Sorry, I started talking on mute. No, I'm definitely happy with them. The only one I'm probably questioning myself on is whether the Elite retain. But aside from that, I think I think I've got a good suggestion or a guess.
You got anything?
Didn't we have another match announced for like the 0 hour? I swear they announced like Dark Order versus Combat Club. Did we give our predictions for that? I could be confused, and we already gave our predictions for that.
I don't know. Let me have a quick look, see if they've. There's only
Sorry,
one. That's all right. There's only one difference in the predictions anyway. Tag titles. Me and Monty have gone the same yet again. At the moment, through Wikipedia, no, it's only 9 matches, I think. If we're wrong, we're wrong. But if it's 0 hour, fuck it. You know?
Yeah. I swear I did see the announcement that it was Blackpool Combat Club versus Dark Order.
Yeah,
that's
well,
Okay, all Blackpool Combat Club.
yeah, we're literally BCC.
It would be
Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah,
So if
I've
it
gone
is,
with them too.
yeah, if it is, there we go. Well, that is it then. That's it for today. Don't forget, of course, all social media, Twitter at the WNR Podcast, I'm at the WNR JR. You can find the entire WNR team on the Twitter banner. Monty, where can people find and listen to you?
Yeah, you can go to @MyMontyPod on Twitter, or you can check out my YouTube channel @MindofMonty. Check out my latest clip from my podcast where I break down whatever's going on in wrestling, whatever comes to mind. That's why it's called The Mind of Monty. Please check it out. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and a new logo. Don't be put off by the logo and think, who the fuck is that? It's still Monty, all right? It's just a different logo.
Right.
Who's this chatting to me? Oh, no, it's Monty. It's fine. Jaxie, where can people find you if you want?
I'm across both Twitter and Instagram at Jaxie Scarlett.
And Gina really wants a fan. She doesn't care if it's an only fan. But where can people find you, Gina, if they want to be a fan?
As long as he's Ricky Starks, then you can find me at Purple Pain.
Bit of WNR. Also on Facebook and Instagram. Across all Google platforms. Send us an email at WNRcast@gmail.com. YouTube, the podcast for all the latest clips. Podcast got at the same time on YouTube. Do SoundCloud on your phone. Also Spotify and iTunes. Speaker. Download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. Our next episode will be the AEW review show. We've got Mystery Mania in 2 weeks' time, everybody. Come on, that was an success last year, wasn't it? What will be the Mystery Mania in 2 weeks' time? We'll find out. But until then, I've been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Thank you for joining me, Jaxie.
It's been fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing sort of the outcomes of AEW. Enjoy Revolution, everyone.
Yeah, without doubt. The mind of Monty, the deity getting us through again. I didn't let you down with New Japan today, did I?
Oh no. Thank you. The New Japan overload, in fact. So it was awesome. Yeah, this is always fun, man. You know how it is.
Yeah, and of course the genius of Gina. Now, Gina, have you got any out there predictions for Revolution? Anything you can give us right now?
Miro will turn up and make a return.
Do you know what? I can see that happening now. Like the end of Wardlow match.
Oh, do you know what? It'd be good if he. Yeah, I was going to say if he comes out during the Wardlow match, fucks them both up and says that title is mine.
Or screw it, have him come out after the John Moxley match and just beat John Moxley even more, and then that sends him at home, you know? That would be
yeah.
So there we go. Put money on Miro showing up today. So that is it. Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.